Something is happening at that. Making a senior debut, Efyong. Congratulations. Another player making debut, Queen Joseph. And we are set for the national anthem of the big game. If my memory serves me right, the last time Nigeria and South Africa met at under 19 level was 429 days ago. And that was in Malaysia, where Nigeria lost under 19 in Malaysia, January 20th, 2025. 1 year and 2 months and 5 days ago was when this battle was played, with South Africa winning by 41 runs through the Duckworth-Lewis method. But we are back here again. It is the South Africa under 19 team versus the senior team of Nigeria. You want to say familiar faces. We are set for the rendition of the national anthem of both countries, but we are starting all the way from South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, national anthem of South Africa. Flying from the OR Tambo International Airport aboard South African Airways to land at the Muritala International Airport, it will take me 6 hours and 5 minutes. But before I say Jack Robinson, I'm landing safely in Nigeria. South Africa under the leadership of Cyril Ramaphosa.
Good morning and welcome to match day 5. It is Nigeria versus South Africa here at the TBS Cricket Oval. Is the 5th Invitational Women's Tournament hosted by Nigeria in the commercial city of Lagos. This is a crucial encounter between both teams. Both teams here have lost a game each to Rwanda, who are table toppers. Earlier today, my colleague Peter was at the toss. How it's panned out?
Good morning and welcome to the Nigeria Women's Invitational Tournament. It's match day 5, match 9, and it's the game between the host nation, Nigeria, and the South Africa U19. We have it all starting from my far hand right. It is the third umpire, Sasha, our match referee, Tony Timinadi, the captain of South Africa, Mika Vanvos, and the captain of Nigeria, Piety. Nigeria, you are the home team. You'll be taking the toss. Heads is the call. Mika, you won the toss. What will you be doing first?
We're going to have a bat first.
What prompted you into making that decision?
I think if we look at the tournament so far, it has been more like better batting first, and I think also for us team, it gives us the platform to play fearless cricket.
Thank you. Any changes to the side, to the team that played yesterday?
There's 4 changes, so 3 changes. Comfort in for, I can't remember now. But there's 3 changes.
Thank you very much. Lucky Piety, you lost the toss. Would you have gone for the same option?
Yeah, we had plans on batting first. I mean, the soil is good. We also have plans on bowling first. Now the toss has put us to bowl first, so we'll go with the plan.
Any changes to the side that played yesterday?
Yeah, there is one change. Lillian is out. We have a new debutant, Queen. Queen is coming in today.
Thank you very much, Lucky. And that is it from the middle. South Africa winning the toss and electing to bat first.
That's the news from the center. It is South Africa that have won the toss and elected to bat first. This is promising and it's going to be a nice encounter. Joining me in the comms box today are my fellow colleagues, Bob Sanga from all the way from Kigali. Will be in the comms box. Shewan Ajidagba, our own boy, Nigerian son of the soil, and Peter himself. Peter, you're welcome again to the comms box. What was it out there with the captains? And what do you think? What was Mika telling you? She wants, what's the target? Usually, yesterday she said 180, and we wonder what today will be like. Here at TBS Cricket Oval, it's open skies and bright sunny morning. I'll tell you what, no single rain is expected today. Hopefully we get the full allotted 40 overs, both sides combined.
Thank you very much, Endurance. The strategy is still not different from last time. South Africa still have it in mind to put that much on the board and quickly into the Nigerian team list for today. Lucky Piety, the captain of this side, alongside Adekunle Shola, Amusa Kande, Christabel Chukunoye, Esther Sandy, Etim Sarah, Peace Hussein, Salome Sunday, Anointed, Egwa Kumosigo, Mba, Henrietta, and debutants coming in for Lillian Uday's Queen Esther. And we are going to be running into the South African team squad. Captain Mika Vanvos, followed by Ashley Van Wyk, Ashley Bernard, Jay Lee, Philander, Rita Billy. Still in the team, Sufokuli, Mia Lelo, Daniel Brushoff, Kanilo Moku, and 3 changes to the squad. The players are Bruce and Gosen, Kelly, and JC Kamfa. And in the bowling scorecard, these are the top wicket takers of this tournament. It's Benjamin Yama Meridiane on 8 wickets from 4 innings. Peace Hussein has a chance to multiply that and increase it. Currently on 7 alongside Ashley Van Wyk, who have both played 3 innings. Ashley Van Wyk on 6 wickets. And down it is 5-5 for Hussein Herrera and Belize. And the batting scorecard, the century of the first match still keeps Fanny on the top with 156, closely followed by Wasimeville on 101. Mika Vanvos makes up the top 3 with 86 from 3 innings. Christina, with an explosive score yesterday, enters the top 5, currently on 4th with 81. And Clarice putting 3 Rwandans in the top 5 of the batting scorecard, having 77 from 4 innings.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Peter Oladosu. Great job done at the center. Mika Vanvos winning the toss and electing to bat, thereby putting the Nigerian captain to go into field. A replica of what happened yesterday, where Nigeria fielded first and, of course, lost against Team Rwanda by 6 wickets. It's on record that no team aside from Nigeria has gone in to field and then won the game, except for Nigeria against Zimbabwe in their opening game, where they won by 8 wickets. Every other team have always, won when they go in to go and bat. And talking about performances, Bime Yimana Maridiane is topping by virtue of the number of wickets she has taken, one ahead of Peace Hussein. Peace Hussein can actually level up after today's game, but starting from the pavilion end is Kehinde Muibat Amusa.
Yeah, it is already confirmed that these two teams are going into the semi-finals, with Zimbabwe and Ghana to fight for the last ball, with both sides yet to pick up a victory. And victory is very, very important and will decide who makes the top 4, the final 4 mark corrections. And now to start the bowling, it will be Nigeria's very own Kehinde Amusa having to step up in the absence of Lilian Ude. And to open the batting for South Africa under 19. It is going to be a very long game. If there's anything these two teams have in common this tournament, is that they have both lost to Rwanda and they are both on 2 victories apiece. Both sides looking for a third. It is going to be a long game. Looking to see both teams play out the entirety of their innings. Only 2 teams in this tournament have batted up every single innings that they've had to ban, and that is Rwanda and the South Africa under 19s. Nigeria will have joined that list, but they went all out, posting just 90 on the board in 19 overs against Rwanda yesterday, a game that they went on to lose. And today they will need to prove their dominance, and they are still very much competitive, and get that loss behind them as they look to face off against this South Africa side that have posed a threat for the same Rwanda and match day 3.
Ashley Barnard and Daniel Boshoff are the 2 opening batters for Team South Africa. The last time South Africa under 19 cricket team met Nigeria under 19 cricket team was at the 2nd edition of the under 19 Women's World Cup in Malaysia, and that's exactly 429 days ago. 1 year, 2 months and 5 days. Nigeria losing that game through the Duckworth-Lewis method. Nigeria losing by 41 runs as a result of the reduced over. The overs were reduced to 8 overs. South Africa scored 49 in that 8 overs for loss of 2 wickets, and Nigeria could only muster 24 runs for loss of 8 wickets in that 8 overs. The shining light then was Lilian Ude, who is not starting the bowling today.
There was a little bit of discomfort to Lilian Ude after yesterday's game, and she said that she wasn't feeling too good, but I thought that it was just something that you're going to brush up. But regardless, it has gifted Queen Joseph that chance to make her senior team debut. Queen Joseph, who was initially part of the under-19 squad at the T20 World Cup qualifiers in Botswana, that qualifiers that Lucky Piety scored a century off of. Yeah, she was part of the team, her highest coming against Rwanda under 19, where she scored 16 off 23. Since then, she's not had that. Since that tournament, she's been off the national team radar up until now. Fantastic start, I would say, for the Nigerian side. 5 balls, 5 thought. Ashley Bernard struggling to find the gaps and making contact with the ball. Up in the air and into the arms of Lucky Piety. Desperation takes over for the South African side. Eager not to give Kende Amusa a maiden, but they gave her more than that, a maiden wicket.
And ladies and gentlemen, see that again on replay. A bit of frustration from Ashley Bernard. Didn't pass the inner circle and fielding at that place. She knew within herself that as a captain, there's nothing I need to do other than help my teammates to get a batter that is proven out, and that's Ashley Bernard. Else, see it again on replay. She was threatened in 5 balls, and this is a maiden wicket, reminiscent of what we saw of a certain Peace Hussein. She joins the growing list of players who are bowled maiden in this tournament. After 8 round of matches, 16 innings, we've seen 5 maidens, and Kehinde Muiba Amusa joins that growing list to make it the 6th maiden. Player of the year for 2025, justifying why she won that gong. And of course, we are getting into the second over. And in comes Jeze Kampa.
And it's also the first time that this has happened. 1 wicket for 0 runs. It has not happened before up until now. The top Nigeria is having a very, very good day. The time on 2 occasions where they've had the opening bowler replaced, both bowlers who have come in instead have done excellently with the likes of Peace Hussein and now Kehinde Amusan. Daniel brush off. A slow start for her as well. First ball dot. 7 balls and no runs yet to take the board for the South African under 19s. Daniel Bishop has been fantastic since coming on to bowl in the previous game against the Rwandan side, and she has managed to maintain our spot in the team going forward. But now this is where she's being tested. Quick feed from Jesse Kampa. She's been very active on the field and energetic as well. Just made her debut against the Rwanda side. Didn't play in the last game. And she's back in the team and is already giving the team a head start. 1 run finally adds to the board on the 9th time of beckoning.
We have to say that the captain of Team Rwanda, Bimeyimana Maridiane, who is leading the bowling scorecard by virtue of the 8 wickets she grabbed in 4 matches, also has dot balls of 54, and following her closely is this young star from Nigeria, Peace Hussein, who has got 44, but by virtue of those 2 dot balls that she bowled, she's now on 46. That means there's every possibility that she could level up on dot balls with Bimeyimana, and she's just 1 shot of her in terms of wickets.
Great energy and running there from Jesse Kampa and Daniel Boshoff. A slow start for South Africa, not usually the explosive start we see from them. And 2 runs so far in 10 balls in the T20 tournament. Nigeria's fielding side looking to brush off yesterday's loss and focus on the game today, and that is to be behind Rwanda going into the semi-finals. Mind you, both teams are already qualified for the semi-finals. Just need this game to cement who finishes second and who finishes third. The most important game is the one coming after this one. That is for the fourth place spot between Ghana and Zimbabwe under 19. Both teams yet to pick up a victory in this tournament.
Excellent submission there by Peter. And after 2 overs, 2 runs on board, and just 1 wicket, and that's the wicket of Ashley Barnard. Certainly, Kende Muibat Amusa will continue from the pavilion end, where she has had joy. The way the format of this competition is structured, the first will take on the fourth, and the second will play against the third. Tomorrow is straight away semi-final, and the first semi-final, I beg your pardon, I'm guessing ahead of myself. Tomorrow is rest day. They want to see how Lagos is, how beautiful the place is, so they will go and visit. On Friday, the first semi-final will see first taking on fourth.
Kanye Amusa continuing from where she stopped. 6 balls, 6 dots. Ended the first over with a maiden. 7th now, a dot. And make that 8, as there was no chance for a run. Good attempt from Jose Campa, but wasn't going to beat Lucky Piety at long off.
Have you noticed something, Peter, that she likes to shuffle to play Jesse, and that was a missed opportunity. She knows that if she does not connect, she's going back to the boundary. I mean, not necessarily boundary like scoring runs, but going to meet the teammates where they are seated.
Yeah, when you shuffle out to come and meet a ball, the only thing on your mind is making contact regardless of where that ball goes, because any miss and you're most likely to get stumped. A medium pace bowler means that the wicket keeper is going to be closer to the stumps than a fast paced bowler, and Jesse Campa recognizes that and has always maintained and trying to make contact with the ball as frequently as possible. Played on the back foot, but didn't find the gap. Nigeria has this game on chokehold. Already 16 balls bowled and only 3 could add to the board. Finally, a gap has been spotted, and that gap was to the boundary ropes. Danieli Bosho finding the first boundary for the South Africa under 19. The runs have been slow, but the boundary came with a further ball, saw that turn, saw that swing, and off the front foot between the gap on the offside of the field, very much near boundary. And now South Africa under 19 can relax a little bit. Still much work to do. The projected score sits at 49. That is very quite low regarding if you put into consideration the number of balls that are in that 20 overs. Starting to find the space, South African under 19 onto the leg side towards deep mid wicket, and they will settle for 1, and that will end the third over. 8 on the board, 6 in this over. And there is that 4 on the front foot, gliding past the infield. And South Africa are looking to push forward. Projected score has gone up a little bit. Now still currently sitting at 53, but it's still quite low. 53 of 120 balls is practically impossible to defend against this free-spirited Nigerian side.
Peace Hussein into the fourth over. But more importantly, our second over, Peter, I was going to say that Nigeria yesterday against Rwanda, after 5 overs, had only given away 12 runs. But then came that 6th over. Anointed Ozemoya Ahigbe had an over to forget. Just 1 over, 13 runs was achieved.
We might get to see debutant take the ball, and that was a missed stump opportunity by Sarai team. Good gamble by Daniele Brushoff. Shuffle to make that ball, missed it. But they will settle for a single. Just nicks the edge of the bat and redirects to the leg side, which they take advantage of. 9 runs already. Runs are a little bit too slow. 1 run off the last 3 balls faced. This time around, she doesn't successfully make the ball. Just a campus gambling or shuffling out to make the ball backfires. Missed that ball on the turn, and the quick hands of Sarah 18 will not fail to dismantle those wickets. Another wicket, 2 wickets in the early hours of the power play. You look at that wicket again, missed that bounce and couldn't return in time. And Nigeria are going all out against this same Rwanda, this same South Africa under 19 that posed a very huge threat to the Rwandan side in match day 3. Unimpressed she is, the captain who took the decision of batting first. We have to come in and justify that. Mika Vanvos is coming in 1 down, and there is that wicket again. Miscalculated the bounce, expected a shorter length or a fuller length and wanted to close the gap regardless, and that ball just dipped in underneath the bat, and Nigeria have boosted another wicket, are stumped in Peace Hussein's over.
And you have to say that with that wicket of Jesse Camper, it was long coming. She had one thing in mind. It's either I connect or I connect with my teammates. I connect the ball or I connect with my teammates. But unfortunately, she has to go and make connections with the teammates. And that wicket of Peace Hussein has taken her level with Bimeyimana Mari Diane, who is already on 8 wickets and sitting at the top. She was like Ashake, lonely at the top. But this time around, she's no longer lonely at the top because
two more balls Mika Vanvos in right now to get the runs ticking, and doesn't succeed off the first attempt, as Chikunoye, active as ever in that point region, does not get beaten. 1 more ball to end the 4th over. Only 24 balls it will be, and just 9 runs will be added to the total. 9 runs for 2 wickets after 4 overs completed. 2 more overs in the power play, and Nigeria in complete control of the game.
You people that processed, it's showing that you are just coming. You guys know what
Deciding to continue with the bowling partnership, Kende and Musa Muhiba, we come for a third over from the pavilion end.
Peter, sorry, I've been hearing that name, but I know it's a Yoruba name. There's a difference between Amusan and Amusa. She is Amusa. Kende Muiba Amusa. I've asked that several times.
Thank you very much for that enlightenment, Ajidagba. The runs are not ticking right now. Mika Vanvos, who made the decision to bat first, is still yet to add a run on the board. Danielle Brushoff hasn't scored most. She scored 80% of the runs so far in this batting inning. 10 runs is what the South Africans have on board, and 8 have come off Danielle Brushoff's bat. Moves along with the ball. She does. The moment that ball went off bat, the run was ignited, and they successfully crossed as Mika Vanvos had one more run to the South African side. 11 runs already on the board. It's still slow. The 30th ball of the innings in play. No keeper to run out. A directive was attempted but wasn't successful. It is 12 on the board for 2 wickets lost after 5 overs completed.
Peter, can we say this is reminiscent of what happened yesterday at exactly 5 overs? Rwanda was on 12 runs before anointed Ozemoya Ahigbe came to bowl, and that over cost Team Nigeria, where she gave away 13 runs, and it was almost looking like this, 12 for 2 after 5 overs. But then he had to come down to Melville Uwase and Henriette Therese Ishimwe.
One of the most difficult bowlers to pick when she's on that good length. Peace Hussein, Danielle Brushoff have really struggled to play her balls. The last person attempting that, trying to meet the ball at the halfway point, which proved unsuccessful, was Jessie Camper, and she did not have any chance to make amends. A little error in the fielding, but was quick enough to recover and prevent any extra run from being actualized. Slow run sticking for the Rwanda to South Africa under 19, trying to play off that back foot. She successfully finds the gap on the offside as there was no deep fielder, and 4 more runs add to the South African under 19. This time it was Chukwunoye Christabel, the fielder who has been electrifying, made that error, letting that ball glide past our grip. And there is 4 more runs, already 4 more run boosts of a ball for South Africa under 19. Mika Vanvos adding that run Danielle Brushoff had done previously in the previous over, 2 overs. That was again Peace Hussein's over, and now Mika Vanvos has added a second boundary for the South Africa under 19. Remains to see just how much longer this partnership can go on as they look to put something much more competitive on the board. 62 sets the current projected score. The run rate is at 309. Quite very slow. As the field will expand in no time, finds the gap again, but this time there was a fielder at a deep point. The boundary couldn't be fulfilled, and they will settle for 1 run.
Peter, that was the 4th ball of the 6th over, but the ball that beat Christabel Chukwuonye, for me, looked more like a throwdown from Peace Hussein. The reason everything went that way. An opportunity for a run-out chance.
Queen Joseph, the fielder who picked that ball, missed a run-out chance. He's making a debut for the women's, the senior women's side, having previously played for the under-19s. They didn't get that through. Look at that miss there. Didn't get that through. That ball falling off her hand at that desperate measure. The pressure kicked in, and the team, being an encouraging side, tells her not to worry about it. They are in control at the moment. Let's hope that he doesn't give them a chance. And that chance comes forth this time. It is a caught behind, edging off the bat of Daniel Broshoff. Partnership ending almost as soon as it starts, as the runs start to build up. Let's take a look at that wicket again. Off the ball. A stump taking out the leg side bills. 2 stumps for the women's side. 2 wickets for Peace Hussein. Climbing up on the bowling chatting. 9 wickets already for the bowler. 1 ahead of Marie Bimayimana Diane. 3 wickets lost in the power play for the South African side. Daniel Broshoff goes out as Vitabile Otomba is back in the batting order. 18 for 3 after 6 overs completed.
For 3 after the power play. You'd feel Ajidaba that the female yellow greens have already put the South Africa under-19s on the back foot, picking up 3 big wickets. Mika Vanvos, the captain, out there, and Retabile. Peace Hussein once again contributing with the ball in hand. She's been the strike bowler in the last couple of games, of course, having picked, of course, 10 wickets so far in the tournament, if I'm not mistaken. At the Kule Shola, more spin coming in from the pavilion end. Yesterday, you'd feel she came in a little bit later into the bowling attack, but this time round, she comes in when the field is spread. These two would love to pick up those singles and doubles. They would love to make a partnership with the captain and the new batter in Ritabile. Enticing delivery, flight on offer. Lovely shot, but there's a fielder in the deep extra cover, looking for the second. Not the best of throws from the fielder in the deep as they pick up a double with ease. The running between the wicket is going to be very, very key right after the power play.
And that was the best batter for Nigeria yesterday, Esther Sandy. She now has to change position strategically.
Rocks back on the back footer. No chance whatsoever for the fielder in the deep as they pick up a much needed boundary at the South Africa under-19s. Runs starting to flow right after the power play. Not the best of deliveries there, but a very good shot from the captain once again, leading from the front already into double figures. The female yellow greens would know that the captain Mika Vanvos the more she occupies that crease, the more danger they are in. Already in the tournament, she scored the half century. A lot of changes in the field as they bring in a deep square leg inside the ring and they send the mid off. Long off to the boundary ropes. Cut away again, but straight to the fielder at point and no run taken.
Retabile yet to record any runs. But Mika trying to take the initiative. And I'm sure that's the target for Adekunle, Adeshola and the entire teammates. The target is to get the very technical and tactical captain of the South African under-19 cricket team, Mika Vanvos, out. Trying to aim the wicket. Unfortunately, one became two, and that has brought us to the end of the 7th over. 26 for loss of 3 wickets. And look at that again. Ashley Barnard didn't score any run. Haven't faced 6 balls. Danielle Boshoff 9 runs from 17 balls. Jesse Kampa 5 balls she faced, scored 1 run. But currently batting Mika Vanvos 100% strike rate, 14 from 14 balls, and Retabile Ntoba are yet to score any run.
Quentin Joseph will be bowling from the Court of Appeal end. 26 for 3. A very good disciplined bowling by the female Yellow Greens inside the 7 overs. They've only bowled 2 extras. Third man is inside the ring for Queen Joseph. She has a deep extra cover, long off, long on, a deep mid wicket. The 4 boundary riders. Apish on that occasion, job shorter. Should have been an easy cut there from the captain, if I'm not mistaken there. Caught in 2 minds from the batter Retabile, allowing the bottom hand to come into play. Look at that. I would have loved to see her chipping in a dive. We've seen so far in this tournament some tremendous catches.
Bob, I can agree less with you. These are periods where players and by extension
need to build a very big partnership if we are to, of course, get to that 120 runs as she mentioned.
And that has brought us to the end of the 8th over, 31 runs for loss of 3 wickets. Gradually, the South African under-19 team are clawing back. You look at the bowling scorecard of Nigeria. Kehinde Muyiwa has 1 wicket to her credit, 14 dot balls in 9 overs. Pisusen has 12 dot balls. After bowling 3 overs, 9 runs conceded, 2 wickets. Adekunle Shola 3 dot balls, 1 over, no wickets, 8 runs. Queen Joseph into her first over gave away 5 runs.
It's nice to see Adekunle Shola come back up to bowling over. We've not seen too much of her bowling over in this tournament. And now she's back, already bowled an over, and it's coming for the second. For already this South African under-19 side that have been a little bit unstable, but they've managed to push the runs up a little bit compared to the power play, the runs they had in the power play. Now, 2 overs since then, they already have 31 on the board. It is quite impressive. It's still okay, and there's still a lot of time with wickets at hand to try and push for more.
Certainly not to the delight of the backroom staff of Nigeria and the entire teammates into the night over the way Adekunle Shola started. Wide ball.
Back to back wide is the signal called by the umpire. Just taking that ball outside of off, and that turn going way beyond the reach of the batter. Good call by the umpire, much to the displease of Adekunle Shola. Turns within the wide marker, and that ball is a dot. 2 runs she's given for free. Still yet to be played off the bat in this over. 1 leg out delivery from 3. And 5 more balls to be bowled by Adekunle Shola. Piety caught off guard with that ball. Luckily, does not have to go back to the stands. Now only missing the off stump by Adekunle Shola. It would have been a very beautiful wicket. Piety didn't go with a short offer. Wanted to kill that ball down and still didn't make contact off that late turn. Very tempting ball, and Piety buys into the temptation and has to go back, losing a wicket quite early. The first wicket since the power play, and Piety is the batter to walk back to the stands. Mika yet to build a solid partnership in the batting crease. Picked that ball off the first bounce underneath and didn't beat Chikunoye at the point fielder. She's been very, very active. Barely any ball has passed her, except for that previous ball where she did not get a grip around it. Other than that, in previous matches coming into today, she's been very solid at that point and backward point region, being shuffling between both positions, and she has gotten a catch to her name.
You can say that again, Peter. Bimeyi Manamari Diani, 4 matches she's done with the group stages of the competition. 4 dismissals, 2 catches and 1 run out. Following her closely is Christabel Chukwueze. That replay says it all. She's into her 4th match, the final game for the group, and she has 3 dismissals, and the catches before now was 2, but now the catches have become 3 and 1 run out to go. Just to further buttress your point, Peter, about her efficiency and effectiveness in the field.
Thank you very much. Still yet to be played off the bat in this over. 3 balls bowled, 2 dots. The third being a wicket. And the new batter in is the wicket keeper, J. Lefilanda. Sweeps it to the leg side. It doesn't build the fielder at square leg. Or dot. They almost attempted a run. We've seen South Africa very, very quick on their feet once it comes to taking a run, and they've been very effective with that, and also being cautious at the same time. If they are taking that run, would have been a wicket. A good call by Mika Vanvos, telling Jeli not to run and halt, as that would have been an unsuccessful run given the gap and the arm of the fielder. 5 legal deliveries. Still yet to consider run off the bat. Adekunle Shola. 1 more ball to end the 9th over. 1 more over before the drinks break, and they've been in complete control. Batters haven't really had the chance to get a grip and understanding of the balls coming towards them. A 3rd wide, and that last ball might have to wait a little bit longer, as wide is the signal by the umpire. Shola will be needing to reboot that ball and end this over.
Peter, in spite of what she has done, it calls for concern as a spinner, giving 3 wides in 1 over should be an area that the coaches need to work on, especially the match analyst Jamal, when they are showing replay of all that happened, for them to make corrections. And after the end of the night over, Nigeria has given away 5 extras after 9 over, and the batting partnership, the current run rate is 3.78. The projected score will now be 76. Mika Vanvos, 17 runs from 16 balls, over 100% strike rate. J. Lei Filanda faced 3 balls and has not scored any run.
Yeah, Queen Joseph coming for our second over, still yet to pick up our debut wicket, unlike the Favor F. Young and Henrietta Umbam, both bowlers picking up wickets, 2 wickets apiece on their debut. She's still yet to pick one, and the first ball of our second over is sent to the boundary. Big chase was given by Peace Hussein, still very successful, piercing that gap with the late cut at the backward point, and gully fielder chased in vain. A big boundary to boost the morale, and the captain taking charge forward in that competitive run target. 83 is currently the projected score, still very far from something defendable, as the current run rate is 4.15. Wasn't expecting the batter, Mika. At this time she had raised her head up. Queen Joseph was already close by. The best thing to do at that point was to step out to prevent any loss of wicket, especially the important wicket of Mika Vanvos. If she had lost that wicket, the game would have turned to another new table. Flicks to the leg side and takes the call, sending Jay Lee on strike. 5 runs already, and the first 2 balls of this over, the run rate is increasing. 4.18 was the initial run rate, and now adding that 5 runs already into this over. Still far from the projected score that is defendable, but they are starting to find a rhythm. Haven't successfully played back-to-back runs before, and now already 5 off 2. This time it is Queen Joseph who takes the stop, as she shuffled on the runner in the run-up and has to recalibrate and rerun. Good length to J. Lee Filanda. Didn't find the tick. Couldn't flick it to the empty space on the lay, and ends up taking it to the fielder at short mid-wicket. First dot of this over for Queen Joseph. 3 more balls to go. And that 3 more balls will still hold on, as that ball was a wide. And with 3 more balls to go, Queen Joseph, not the dream debut, she's still very much performing very well. But on the debut, the tension takes over at some point. They didn't plan for that extras, we all know that. But still yet to take a wicket, and wicket will very much encourage her in a drive. A dot ball that is for Queen Joseph. 2 consecutive dots. 2 unplayed legal deliveries, I'll categorize it. Still 2 more balls to go, and 11 runs in 10 balls bowled. Very good figures for the young lad. This time successfully flicks it into the deep, to the deep square leg. 1 run as Mika Vanvos. We come on strike for the final ball of this over.
Queen Joseph coming from the Court of Appeal end. The last good delivery, emphasis on good delivery to bring us to the first part of the first innings, and more importantly, the drinks break.
Towards the fielder at extra covers, finding that gap. And Mika Vanvos will come on strike after the drinks break as she scored 1 run off that ball. Halfway point into this game, it is 42 on the board for 4 wickets after 10 overs completed.
Well, we'll take a break, myself and Peter, but it's imperative to put it out there that South Africa 42 runs for loss of 4 wickets after 10 overs. But the captain of the side, Mika Vanvos, is now the second best batter in this tournament. She's gone above of Uwase Meville by virtue of scoring that 23 runs. And when you add the 23 runs to the already 86 runs that she has from the 3 matches that she has played, she has gone almost immediately to 47 short of the lady who is topping the batting, Fanny Utagushina-Ninde. And that means Nigeria has to be very, very careful, knowing that there's still a certain Mika Vanvos batting. We'll go for that drink break and we'll be back. Big shout out to our 2 umpires, umpire Kendi Olambiwonu and umpire Ange Nicole Igihozo.
For the loss of 4 wickets, the first 10 overs. The female Yellow Greens have done a tremendous job, of course, with the ball in hand. Very disciplined bowling, making sure 4 of their top batters are back in the hat. Adekule Shola will be bowling right after the drinks break from the pavilion end. Goes for a big sweep shot. Laura P, but this time round turned down by the umpire. As of course, I will come into the commentary box. Let's have a look at that again on the replay. Pitched way outside leg stump. Very good decision by the umpire who made her debut in this particular 5th edition of the Nigeria Women's Invitational, Ange Nicole.
Thank you, Bob. A brilliant shot this time, driven through the covers. just a single. I think the Nigerian side have been very disciplined in terms of field placement and bowling today. The patient was talking to the captain earlier, and some of the bowlers, they just talked about the consistency that they need against the South African side. But I tell you what, into the second end of the first innings, you would expect some power hitting here. The South Africans, you know their mindset and how they approach things. It promises to be an exciting finish here unless Nigerian bowlers keep getting those 1 wickets every now and then just to slow them down. But in the last 10 overs, you expect to see 70, 80 plus with this wicket batting.
Takes a little shimmy on the occasion. Not enough timing. They will be very happy with this. Scoreboard ticking at these two. But again, when you look at the bowling of the female Yellow Greens, they know they need that wicket over Mika Vanvos, who's already on 24 off 21. She's been very, very consistent for her side. She has scores, of course, of 50, 32 on the other day against Team Rwanda, and now she's sitting on 24 off 21. She can be very dangerous if she stays out there. Square driven on that occasion. A lot of work to be done in the deeper. Should pick up a double with ease. The running between the wickets has been spot on. They know they need a partnership, and the big one, the young South Africa under-19s.
As expected here, you see the running between wickets becoming really, really aggressive. And that's what you expect. And at this stage of the game, the South Africans are going to take more risks. Hopefully, it's calculated, well flighted, straight to the fielders. Short covers there. No run from that one. 46. Projected score around 86. With wicket in hands, certainly that would just be numbers. You expect a lot more from these batters. The captain, Vanvos, understand what needs to be done. She's an intelligent cricketer we've seen thus far. Brilliant piece of bowling there by Adekunle. That brings us to the end of the 11th over with scores on 46 for 6.
Fantastic over, you'd say there, from Adekunle, going for only 4 runs. That last ball being a googly finding, of course. Mika Vanvos caught in 2 minds. 46 for 4 after 11. Moving at 4.18 runs and over is the young South Africa under-19s. Hussein comes back into the attack from the Court of Appeal end. She's been very, very good for the female Yellow Greens with the ball in hand, always picking up wickets in the power play. Cheeky and effective on that occasion into the vacant fighting leg region. 2 fielders, of course, converge, gives it a chase. Should be settled, should be okay with the double at these two. But again, when you look at the way the Nigerians have gone by their first 11 overs, they have made sure they've turned down all the music, bringing out the spinners, giving the South Africans the taste of their own medicine. They know they love pace on, and they've decided to go the other way.
I tell you, Bob, spin is going to play a lot of role in today's game because South Africans also have those spinners themselves, and they are very, very tricky with them. So who bowls better today, the spin attack, and whose temperament is better today, you will see a very wonderful, nice switch hit. Will this go all the way? Big chase at the boundary, and it goes all the way. It's an amazing shot. Good invention here to make sure they get that much needed boundary. We talked about it, that things are not going to stay quiet. Again on the replay, that's the switch. Straight away, over, shot, fine leg.
And of course, with that boundary, the 50 comes up for the young South Africa under-19s. Looks like right after the drinks break, they're batting in the 3rd gear as Mika Vanvos and Giant Philander, wicket-keeper batter, who's not yet contributed with the bat in hand. We all know she's been very good behind the stumps. Rocks back on the back foot, but this time around, straight back to the bowler herself. Let's have a look at the field set for the Yellow Greens. A deep Deep mid wicket, long on and long off, and deep extra cover are the only boundary riders. Goes again for a big sweep shot, but finds the fielder at short leg, I beg your pardon. I don't mind the idea here, Andy, from Giant Philander, trying, of course, to hit the ball on the onside where there's only one fielder patrolling the onside.
I'll tell you one thing, Bob. You will be forgiven for taking risks at this stage of the game. You will not be forgiven for not trying to get runs anyhow you can. And that's where you see Jay Philander trying all sort of things. But she just has to keep the basics, because all she needs to do is what she has done now: rotate, strike, get behind the ball and knock it into the space for ones, and bringing on Mika, who is more informed than any other one on this South African under-19 batting lineup. And that's the end of the 12th over. Score is on 53 for the loss of 4 wickets. Mika sitting on 26 of 24 deliveries. Jay Late Philander 9 of 13. Hussein Peace has bowled beautifully well so far. 2 wickets for 16. So Adeshola Adekunle, who comes back on. Lucky Piety, I've just shown consistency with the spin today. I reckon she will bowl at some point, because during the warm-up we saw Nigeria warming up 4 spin bowlers. Another dot ball in the 13th over.
She's looked to be very busy. Is a Giant Philander. Gonna be an interesting gear matchup from Adekule, given that Ash will be spinning it away from the right-hander. Full on that occasion, takes a little shim again, not enough timing. Very livid is the captain. You can't afford at this particular stage to eat up a lot of deliveries, given that, of course, that you are setting a target.
Uppish, just pitch landing outside the inner ring, just a single there. This is brilliant field placement here, and that's what happens when you bowl dot balls. You kind of like put the pressure up. Now Captain Mika will have to decide how she wants to approach this setup here. 54 for 4 with the skipper still batting. Really bad. Got a bat on that one. 4 runs. Adekunle Shola will have to stay focused here. They don't giving away too many boundaries. That was a really, really bad ball on your replay. Short pitch, way outside the expected mark area.
Trying to bowl a quicker one is Adekunle Shola. Pays the price. One of the worst deliveries we've seen so far in this tournament coming over Adekunle Shola. She moves into the 30s once again. Is Mika Vanvos, always contributing for her side. Leading from the front is the captain. They would want her to bat as deep as possible. Rocks back on the back footer. Not enough effort from the fielder at covers. The outfield has been electric. Back-to-back boundaries there for the captain.
Yeah, we spoke about it this morning. Adekunle Shola would have to constantly stay focused. This was pitched slightly shorter, and because he's turning away, created that room for Mika, who have studied the turn of the bowler and was just there waiting for it to turn away. Consistency is what it is. A fuller length, fuller deliveries, because you have fielders long on long of deep extra covers, deep mid wicket. Invite her to drive and then see how far she can go. Again, that's still pitching short. And once the delivery is slightly short, Mika is fully in control and strong on that back foot. And that one struck the fielder.
That's the bowling chatter so far. Peace Hussein already finished that spell alongside Adekule Shola. Picked up 2 wickets is Peace Hussein and Adekule Shola 1. A little bit expensive, going for 6 runs and over in her 4 overs. 2 overs bowled by the debutant Queen Josepha. Interesting to see who the captain is going to throw the ball at, given that Lilian Ude misses out in this particular fixture. 6 extras are very disciplined from the female Yellow Greens. 62 runs for the loss of 4 wickets. As of course the field takes some treatment from the physio.
On the runs chart for you, the only double figures batters are still there batting. Mika Vanvos, 34 of 27, the strike rate of 125. Jalet Filanda, 10 of 16, and 62 strike rate. Hopefully she can push that up to 100, and then maybe South Africa might just be in a good position. But I'll tell you what, today, another 40 runs on this, it might be very difficult because South Africa will also take spin advantage here, and the Nigerian team have to be ready for this.
Anything around 110, I'll tell you, endurance. These young South African 19s, they won't go down without a fighter, given that they have 4 spinners in their side. Spinners who have been spinning a web here for the young South African side. The likes, of course, of Ashley Barnard, Ashley Van Wyk, and the captain herself, Mika Vanvos, and the young Zia. 4 spinners. Those are 16 overs of spin. So they will know, given that Mika Vanvos, who is already on 34, she is in the mood. She would love to carry her side to a commanding total. Queen Joseph continues coming in to bowl her 3rd over. Takes a little shimmy, picks the ball on the full, but there's protection in the deep. Looking for the second, a little bit of fumble, miscommunication, run out chance, goes begging. Should have been an easy run out.
Another fumble there. Quite disappointing. Miscommunication. Team in all sorts of dramatic movie, you can call that. This is where they need to stay focused. The Nigerian side, they have what it takes. They just need to stay calm and consistent. Smart cricket there by Mika. And that's where captaincy then matters. Probably you should take out that mid-wicket fielder and just get Mika off strike and then bowl to Jalet as much as possible. And then the skipper will then put herself under pressure to score quickly when she comes. And that's what happens when you give her the strike. There, another wide delivery.
It's a game of you snooze, you loser. That would have been another wicket for the female Yellow Greens. How costly can that be, given that she is playing a very good part in this partnership with Giant Lang Filanda. Plays it very, very later, picking up yet another boundary with ease. Is the captain toying with the fielder of the female Yellow Greens. Pace on the occasion with offered. Opens up that full face of her blade. Very intelligent batter she is. Let's have a look at that again. Shuffled across. Oof, what a shot. Putting on a show of her own once again. Edging closer to that 50 is the captain, Mika Vanvos. 68 for 4. you'd feel again right after the power play, the body language again from the female yellow greens has dropped, allowing these two to pick up boundaries and singles with ease, rotating the striker. Cheeky and effective this time round. The chase will be in vain again, back-to-back boundaries.
Now, this is where cricket intelligence come into play, right? You need to be consistent. You need to stay focused. See that shot again. The intent was there. You need not worry, because I would have expected, and I expect the Nigerian side here to stay defensive, avoid the boundary balls, protect the boundary, and squeeze the South Africans. But if you let them run, you could see 130, 140 here today, and then it becomes really, really difficult because these young South Africans have a decent bowling lineup. Let's see how the captain carries things from here.
Talking about the captain, Lucky Piety, who is at long off. I'm not sure how she is setting this field. When you look at that boundary, intelligently played by Mika Vanvos, there was no one at fine leg. And they are paying the price. At this time around, they send the fielder at a fine leg. Takes a little shimmy, whacks it on the onside. Very good wrist work from the captain once again. Turning out to be a very, very big over here for the young South Africans. 12 runs coming off the first 4 of the young debutant Queen Joseph, who's been put under the pump.
Brilliant cricket here. Mika now just taking a stroll from here. And this is where the Nigerian team will have to fight really hard. They're moving very quickly now. In the last, coming from 40-something after 10 overs, they've scored almost 30-something in the next 4 overs. And that brings us to the end of the 14th over. Score is on 74 for 4. Clearly, current run rate sitting at 5. 109 is projected score, but it could be more if we don't bow tight here.
What a gem of a player she is. That last over going for 14 runs, I'll tell you. Those are some of the boundaries, of course. She scored 12 runs off the 14 runs. Taking control is the captain, Mika Vanvos.
Clearly, there's something we've learned about cricket, Bob. The longer you bat, the longer you stay, the more possible is this for you to dominate and manipulate the field. And we've seen how the skipper has done that. She's taking her time, running hard between wickets, keeping her eyes on the ball, knocking the ones and twos. Earlier today, we saw her just before going into bat, juggling the ball just to get her eye in. These are some of the skills that we need to learn around this tournament. Well, these young South Africans have shown that tactical awareness, the game situation awareness, the match awareness, and the intelligence to carry through these situations.
And it comes in to bowl her very fast over from the pavilion end, up against the red-hotted Giant Philander and Mika Vanvos. She have, of course, a good day in the office in yesterday's game. They would love to bounce back is the female Yellow Greens after that defeat against Team Rwanda. Cheeky and effective once again, toying with the field, coming in to bowl her very fast over, no fine leg in play. And she starts off with one angling into the pads. Easy pickings, you'd say here for the young South Africans.
Again on your slow motion, and that's the delivery just on the leg stump line. She held still, keeping still until she executed that shot. I'm just wondering here, no fine leg, long off, deep extra covers, third man, every other fielder is in the ring. I would have thought, because she's a fast bowler, she might not be able to go over, long off, or mid off. You have to push that fielder back if you're going to be drifting into our pads. And clearly, in the last 6 overs of play, the leg side needs to also be padded. That's decent delivery, dot ball. Mika on 46 of 32, just climbing from here. We've moved in the last 4 overs. We've seen 40 plus runs now. After bowling so beautifully in the first 10 overs of this innings.
You look at the field set here. She has 3 fielders on the onside. Short leg, cheeky again, but this time round, wide on offer. She gets away with that, given again that there is no fine leg for Anointed. She has most of her fielders are on the offside, and she's still targeting the pads. I'm not sure she's learnt from yesterday's game is Anointed Akibe, and especially the captain Lucky Piety. Yes, she is still new in the leadership role, but again, you need to adjust as soon as possible. This is where the game can slip away from you. Can't afford to be, of course, chasing anything around 130 against this intelligent bowling attack of the younger South African 19s.
Oh, this is brilliant cricket. Oh, she missed that one. See, we talked about calculated risks, and that's what Philander is doing. But clearly, there is a plan, and they're trying to manipulate this field. And that is where the captain will have to think outside the box. You can see a fielder talking to the captain, and clearly they want a bowling change perhaps. That's the replay, and see how beautiful that is. Etim Sarah just wasn't quick enough to get her gloves onto that one. Disappointing for Mika, and she misses out on that one, and it's a leg by. But this is where the skipper will have to protect the bowler, because obviously she's lost control a bit, both for 3 balls down the leg side and onto the pads. Just that one with the Dilshan scoop tried by Philander. Interesting to see how they're trying to manipulate the field and get runs. But this field looks like an umbrella here on the offside. Just third man behind the wicket, behind the batter. Bold. She's tried, she stayed consistent, wicket to wicket, and that's where the answer is. And they will try things, and if you stay committed and focused, you will get results, and that is just what Anointed has done. And his Jave late Philander will depart for 16 from 21 deliveries. That delivery again, full and straight. She was looking to go down the leg side where there's no protection for the bowler. Again, they will keep trying, but it is worth the risks. And with the score on 83, we just saw South Africa under 19 lose their 5th wicket, with the current run rate on 5.6.
Thank you very much. 2 of the finest commentators in Africa who have identical positions. One was former captain of Nigeria, the other one former captain of Rwanda. And then the 2 of us are brought back again, myself and Peter. I have never captained anywhere. I don't know about you, Peter.
Luckily for me, I have captained at youth level cricket, so that leaves just you, Ajidawa.
I'm always standing alone. I'm lonely at the top. 83 for 5 after 15 overs. Sifo Kulile Mokwena has come in to join Mika Vanvos, who is 4 short of half century, and I see that is not enough. She's just inching closer to catch up with Fanny. That's the most important thing.
Just now you were talking about captain versus captain, and we're having a captain versus captain bout right now. It is Lucky Piety deciding to take the ball and bowl to Mika Vanvos. The last time these two stayed to be the partnership, Mika ended up scoring half a century, 4 shy of that, and Lucky Piety will look to restrain that and end that as soon as possible. Off the edge of the bat towards the leg side, and she will settle for 2 as Peace Hussein chased that ball down and picked it. 2 more runs, and Mika will stay on strike. Earlier on, it was 4 shy of half a century. Now it's 2 runs shy, and Lucky Piety will come with another delivery.
Looks like the over where Mika Vanvos will replicate what she did. In the game against Ghana, where she scored an half century.
The first wide of Lucky Piety is bowling over. An extra, very much welcome by the South African side. They've been quite slow in this game. Nigeria have done a very good job in terms of restricting them. To the leg side, and they will go for 1. That half century might have to wait a little bit longer, as now Sifo Kule is on strike. We know just how efficient the Nigeria bowling lineup is. It is their strongest part of the game. Looking to join the wicket. One run, and Mika is on strike just as soon as she left. 1 ball, 1 run. Sifukuli sends her on strike for the 5th ball of this over. Runs to the other end, and that will be the half century for Mika Vanvos. Still a lot more job to be done, but right now it is a personal milestone, the second half century for a while in this tournament. But she's not looking to be distracted by that personal milestone. Cricket is a team game, and right now the score is not team defendable. Big call by Mika, as they will take 1 of the last balls, and Sifo Kule to come on strike in the next over. 80-90 it is for 5 wickets after 16 overs completed.
The current run rate is at 5.63, and the projected score at some point in time was 49, rose to 53. Now, based on the batting prowess of Mika Vanvos, the projected score will stay at 111 because Mika Vanvos is still batting. And Peter, she has scored 50, and when you add 50 to the 86 she had before this game, she's now on 136. That means she's 20 short of Fanny Utagushina-Ninde, who is on 156 runs. 20 more and she would join Fanny at the top.
One run to start Anointed Akigbe second over. Good comeback from yesterday's performance, giving out 13 runs in 1 over, first over. And today she's been entrusted with the ball again to try and mediate this run rate of the South African under 19. She seems to be doing very well. 7 balls bowled and only 7 runs conceded in less than 2 overs. Brings it to the leg side. Mika with a decision even before the ball was released, already on off stump with a decision of going big to the left side. Look at that ball again. Already stepped across the wicket line, and Anointed Akigbe just made that decision much easier for Mika, putting that ball outside of leg, and the boundary is the punishment. Big one for Mika and the South African bowling order. So my corrections, the Nigerian bowling order.
Anointed has to think about a bowling and what she intends to achieve with the ball. An appeal that the umpire is not interested in. That was a leg by signaled by umpire Angie Nicole Igihozo. A big shout out to my 2 umpires, Angie and Kennedy Olambi-Wonu, as well as my 3rd umpire, Adepeju Adetoro Balogun.
Good stop in the deep on the boundary ropes. Still didn't prevent South Africa from getting that 2 extra run. And there was that ball off the toes of Sivukule. Coming to the leg pretty often is Anointed Akigbe. She should focus on that off stump line, and is making the decision to swing to the left side much easier for the South African batters. Comes to the leg side again and is punished. Does he get to the boundary rope? No, it doesn't. Lucky Piety and Candy Amusa giving that big chase. Each time the ball is coming to the leg side, it is made the decision easier. The batters know there's only one direction, and that has to consolidate it to the leg. And they've done that on multiple occasions with 4 of the previous ball, and then those 2 byes, and now these 2, Sivukule and Mika Vanvos, already looking to build a partnership, and they are doing very well at that.
They are on 100 runs and have just lost 5 wickets. Oh, brilliant shot. But just one. And that's what she wants. And that has brought us to the end of the 17th over. The projected score continues to go up. Initially, it was 111 after the 16th over. It has now gone up to 119. The current run rate is at 5.94. Mika Vanvos still batting, faced 39 balls and scored 54 runs. See that again on replay, how she approached that.
This was the first wicket, the first boundary. Daniel Iboshoff kicking off the boundaries for the South African. This was the second one when Mika Vanvos came in and started. And Opis Queen Joseph, also a victim on a debut, or international debut. Lucky Piety with the second over coming in and is sent to the boundary for a maximum. The captain receiving the first maximum of this match. Vukule playing off the front foot and powering that ball above the field and above the boundary ropes. As we're getting into the ending point of this inning, this is the time, still wicket at hand. This is the point where South Africa are going all out to make sure they put something defendable on the board. We talked about when the projected score was still sat at 62. We said they needed to do more, and now it is at 125. Ajidawa, do you think that 125 is defendable against this Nigerian side?
Impossibility is nothing. Like we say in cricket, there's a popular slang: who they bowl, they bat, and who they bat, they bowl. That means if you bowl in the first innings, you will get into the second innings to go and bat. All you need to do is, irrespective of the score that your opponent posts in the first innings, if you are the fielding side, you know the brief, you understand, you just need to go there and bat intelligently. There's a difference between batting in the first innings and batting in the second innings. When you are batting in the second innings, you understand what you require in every over. So there's already a premeditated calculation which you have to work with. So failure to do that means that you are going to suffer for it. Lucky Piety is giving away too many runs in this over. There's already a maximum and there's already another 4 runs to go along with it, and you look at this over becoming a very expensive over from the captain.
The shot should come and pick the ball. Seems to have backfired for Lucky Piety, and there is that maximum again, advanced and met that ball before any turn of the tip of the bat, where the power was channeled down through, and that maximum was the reward. And this is that full towards the leg side. Lucky Piety hasn't really found that length. A short ball pitch and good stuff from Chukwunoye Christabel. That ball will have raced to the boundary. I did between her at that point. Lucky Piety's ball haven't really been close to the bat, always pitching at a short or short on good length, and the turn already seen before getting to the batter, and they just play off the direction of the ball. Narrowly missing on that leg stump. The last ball is dotted. It is 113 on the board for 5 wickets lost after 18 overs.
And look at the batting. When we thought that things were going from bad to worse for them, Ashley Barnard didn't score any run. Daniele Boshoff scored 9 runs. Jesse Kamfa just scored 1 run. Mika Vanvos coming in and doing the job that she's supposed to do. She's already on 59 runs, not out from 41 balls. Retabile Nitoba, of course, didn't do well with the bat, but currently Mika Vanvos and Sifo Kule Masilela are combining to put pressure on Team Nigeria.
Goes big above everyone in the field. 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3 bounces. He rolls to the boundary. 4 of 4 already into the last 2 overs. Still 5 wickets at hand. A lot of encouragement to go. Look at that bounce. Off the first bounce, already behind that ball and sent it into the gap. Kende Amusa, that is the bowler coming from our favorite end, the pavilion end. New individual at best in this tournament for Mika Vanvos, 63 of 43 balls she is on currently. Good return to the popping crease for Mika Vanvos. Shuffled out to meet that ball. That is the advantage of facing a pace bowler. When you come out, when you shuffle out, there's usually enough time to go back in and keep your bat in the crease before any stump is actualized. And she has benefited from that. Jesse Kamfa earlier on was in the benefit of that, as she had advanced when a spinner was bowling and the keeper was closer.
You can say that again, Peter. We are into the penultimate over. Plays it up. Safe. And you could see the gusto with Mika Vanvos. Didn't really stress herself so much. Now taking her tally to 67. And the way she's batting, she's just 3 shots of 70.
That reverse sweep, waited patiently for that ball and was already made that decision even before the ball had come. And we saw Kende Yamusa, who had really given out 7 runs in her first 2 overs, has already gotten 8 runs in a 3rd over alone from none other than Mika Vanvos, who is on fire right now. They didn't have a good game on the last game, but now she is out there to finish off this match. Picked it up in the air and just one bounce to the fielder Akova Salome Sunday. The fielder outside of the inner ring as they go on to complete 2 runs. 69 already for Mika Vanvos of 46 balls. She's been very explosive.
One more run, she gets to 70 and she equals Fanny Utagushinaninde.
She will have to hold on in that 2nd place as a catch by the fielder at mid-off. Pays off decision not to expand that downside area of the field. Finally pays off for the female yellow greens. Mika Vanvos had a very enjoyable time in the crease, but has to walk out back. Didn't get the right contact of the edge of the bat, and the fielder anointed Akigbe was waiting patiently and gets that much needed catch. She's been all in their boots, all in their faces, finding every single inch of this field with the ball, and now she has had to go out. And the new batter coming in for her will be none other than Ashley Van Vyk, man of the match in the last game against the Zimbabwe under-19s. Is here and we will look to add more runs on the board, more defendable runs on the board in the last 6 balls of this inning. 123 is still sits, but it's now 6 wickets after 19 overs completed.
Peter, cricket is very cruel. You want to believe that the way Mika Vanvos was going all guns blazing, she was going to surpass Fanny. I'm sure Fanny in her hotel watching this game will be praying that the Nigerian bowler should do something so she still holds the ace as the best batter after 4 rounds of matches. But one thing is clear, Mika Vanvos started this game as the 3rd best batter behind Melville Uwase. But as we speak, she's now the 2nd best, and not just 2nd best, she's breathing down the neck of Fanny, and you want to say that we are in for a battle.
Goes big, Sifokule, 2nd maximum for Sifokule. Lucky Piety being the first victim, and now it is debutant Queen Joseph. A shuffling paying off 2nd time, met that ball off the top of the bat, the top end of the bat, same direction, same end, same results. Bringing a pace, bringing a spin bowling, it doesn't make any difference. Doesn't get that contact this time around, and it's a dot. 33 runs have been given out already by Queen Joseph on her debut. Still yet to join the list of debutants to pick up a wicket for the female yellow greens.
When I was having a conversation with the coach of South Africa under-19 cricket team, Danesh Devranane, she said after that loss against Rwanda that their slogan is either you win or you learn. They don't lose. And that was their first learning this year. I mean this under-19 cricket team of South Africa. She also told me that some of the players that are being prepared for the World Cup are not part of this squad. And what they just did was to give some other players an opportunity. Good stop there, but that will not debar them from going for 3 runs.
Good running between the wickets. 3 runs completed. Ashley Van Foyk with that lovely strike into the deep, giving the Nigerian fielding side a chase as she sends the explosive Sivokure. He is already on 20 on strike. 2 more balls to end the inning. Queen Joseph to Sivokule. Meets that ball, plays it in the air, doesn't go beyond the infield. A collision, but still ends in a wicket. Queen Joseph gets herself a first wicket on a debut for the female Yellow Greens. Both players seems to be okay. And look at that ball again of the top middle end of the bat. Didn't get that contact like in the previous ball. Very good of the fielder to hold on to the ball.
Question is, where is the rule that says you talk my ball? That was almost going to be a drop catch by virtue of that collision between Christabel and Queen Joseph herself. But eventually, she got that catch. You see that it was a needless collision. My ball, either of them could have picked it. But then that's what it is. 7 wickets, 133 runs. Last ball, Kaylee will face Queen Joseph. Will she add to the runs or she will not score any runs? Only time will tell. And it was a dot ball. She will not add to the runs. It's 133 runs for 7 wickets after 20 overs. And that's how the first innings has come to an end. But high point of that first innings has to be Mika Vanvos, the captain of the side, who did well with the bat by scoring 69 runs off 47 balls. Following closely in terms of batting has to be Sifokule Masilela, who scored 20 runs. Another batter of note is G. Lee Filanda, the wicketkeeper, who scored 18 off 21 balls. Nigeria giving away 13 extras in that allotted 20 overs. And for the bowling, top bowler Amusa Kehinde Muiba 2 wickets, Peace Hussein 2 wickets, Adekunle Shola 1 wicket, Queen Joseph 1 wicket, Anointed Aigbe 1 wicket. Only Lucky Piety did not get wickets. And look at the match summary. Mika Vanvos, unarguably the best batter, 69 runs for 47 balls. Sifokule Masilela, 20 runs for 15 balls. Jele Filanda, 16 runs off 21 balls. And for the bowling, Amsa Kehinde Muibat, 2 wickets for 17 runs in 4 overs. Peace Hussein, 2 wickets for 16 runs in 4 overs. And Adekunle Shola, 1 wicket for 24 runs in 4 overs. The brief is simple for Nigeria. They need to score 134 runs in 20 overs or less.
Good afternoon and welcome to the chase this afternoon. It is Nigeria that will be trying to chase down 134 runs to win this game. The first innings was South Africa dominating affairs. Mika Vanvos, the South African under-19 captain, 69 of 47 deliveries. Sifokule, 20 of 15, and J-led Philander, 16 of 21 into that late rally, scoring beyond 90-something runs in the last 10 overs. For Nigerian bowlers, it is Amusa, Kehinde Muina, 2 for 17 in 4 overs, Pisu Seni 2 for 16 in 4, and Adekunle Shola 1 for 24. There are the bowlers. Presently joining me in the comms box is my friend and brother Bob, from all the way from Kigali. Because I love that trip and that flight. It's not too long, not far. Of course, the beautiful times here. This afternoon, Nigeria will have to work extremely hard against the South African under-19 side.
Thank you, Endurance, and as we welcome, of course, our lovely viewers wherever you're catching us live here at the Tafawa Balewa Square. South Africa earlier had won the toss, elected to have a bat faster. They found themselves on 133 for the loss of 7 wickets in their allotted 20 overs. You'd feel that the young South African team have done a tremendous job, having found themselves right after the power play with the score, but reading 18 for 3. Put on a commanding total, you'd feel. Shot number 2, spinner, opening the bowling from the pavilion end. She has 2 fielders on the boundary ropes, deep square leg and deep mid-wicket are the only 2 boundary riders. It's going to be an interesting power play here for the female Yellow Greens and, of course, the young South African side. The female Yellow Greens, of course, they would love to bounce back from that defeat against Team Rwanda in yesterday's game. Starts off with one into the pass, loud appeal. Turned down by the umpire, Ange Nicola. Straight up, putting pressure on the openers. Let's have a look at that again on the replay. Good decision, you would say. That pitched outside leg stamper. Followed the occasion, very well driven by the young Kehinde Amusa. They should pick up a double with ease.
Interesting to see, we spoke about it earlier, Bob, that spin will play a lot of role, crucial role in this encounter. Already we're going to see these 2 teams again on Saturday because they will be coming second and third in the semi-finals. Whatever the results are today, it will be a challenging time, but interestingly, that is driven past the fielder in the inner ring and that picks up the first boundary for Nigeria. Already scores, moves on to 6 from 3 deliveries.
Very good shot, played it very, very late. She didn't even try to overhit it, but the timing was spot on. The outfield being electric, allowing the ball to go all the way to the boundary. Very good start here for the female Yellow Greens. They need to be scoring at 6 runs and over. So far in the first 3 deliveries, they have 6 runs and over. They should capitalize on this. Kehinde Amusa opening the batting alongside Christabel Chukwonye, interestingly coming round the wicket. Takes the outside edge, but there's a fielder at short third man. The captain is not opening the batting for the first time in this 5th edition of the Nigeria Women's Invitational Tournament.
I think all eyes will be on that batting trio of Lucky Piety, Esther Sandy and Salom Sunday. This time just gloves it. Interestingly, and Ashley, just making sure she gets as many dots as possible to try and squeeze in the pressure. And required run rate is 6.6. Maker trying to attack here. Misses out on that one again. That brings us to the end of the first over. The score is 6 for no loss.
Not a bad over there from Ashley Van Wyk, given that on that last delivery she nearly took the outside edge. That was the boundary from Kehinde Amusa. Square driven between those 2 fielders at point and covers who had to play second fiddle on the chaser. 6 for naught after 1. Expect to see a lot of spin from the young South Africa under-19s. They have the likes of the captain herself, Mika Vanvos, Ashley Bernard, Ashley Van Wyk, who just bowled the first over, and the young Zia, I beg your pardon, Mohanlal. 16 overs of spin. But for now, it's going to be Bruzan sharing the new cherry with Ashley Van Wyk, coming in from the pavilion, Court of Appeal end, I beg your pardon. She has a 3rd man in play and fine leg. This being our second game, I should love to make a statement. Pace on straight away, plays it on the upper is Christabel Chukwuonye. Very good signs as the ball came out of the sweet spot of her blade. She's been promoted. Should love, of course, to capitalize without opportunity given to her by the coaches. No sleeping play, interestingly. We saw her in her very first game is the young Bruzan, generating a lot of pace. Pace on again, rushing her into the shot.
For this level, say some wheels in that bowler's feet. Bruzan. It's interesting here. And see how Christabel manages to tone things down. But the fight is on, the battle is on. Good temperament and showing consistency.
There's some serious bowling up front from the young Bruzan, who comes back, of course, in the side. She's bowling into the right channels. Starting off, of course, with 3 dot balls. Change of pace on that occasion. Well played by Christabel Chukwuonye as she gets off the mark, guiding it to third man for a quick run.
T20 cricket always requires you to get on the mark early. What we can see is South African just cruising in a lot of dot balls just to put the pressure up, and hopefully they find some breakthrough. But so far, there's been no wicket. Scored in 7. This time, playing around the umpire's mat, and that will be a wide.
A very good game we have here on our cast, Mr. Endurance. Should be a game that the female yellow greens will be tested, of course, given that the semi-finals are around the corner. They will be playing at the same team. Full on that occasion, nearly takes the outside edge. Pace on again from Bruzan. I love the way she's been setting up the 2 batters at the moment. Bowling 3 fast deliveries on that 3/4 line mark. But now this time round, she's trying to bowl it full, bringing, of course, the LB into play.
That's the thing, you expect the batters to think this through and focus on a wide ball again. That's it with fast bowlers. They've got to stay focused and consistent. Every run from here is as important as every meal you have each day. And that's why Bruzan will have to stay focused. She's bowled beautifully in first 3 deliveries. Brilliant shot, but straight to the fielders. A single they will get. That brings us to the end of the second over. Score is 10 for no loss.
You'd say good cricket all-rounder in the first 2 overs. With the scoreboard, of course, reading 10 for naught. But again, when you look at the first innings where, of course, the young South African side found themselves right after the power play with 18 runs on board for the loss of 3 wickets. You would feel the female yellow greens would love to tick that box first and see if they can get over that 18 without losing a lot of wickets, and then maybe later on when the field is spread, they can start penetrating those gaps and build partnerships. Partnerships are going to be very, very key in this chase for the female yellow greens. Ashley Van Wyk comes in to bowl her second coming round the wicket to the right-handers. Rocks back on the back foot, but there's a fielder at short leg. Another dot ball.
We used to say build your partnerships in blocks of 5 runs, and then you gradually see together you score 5 runs, and then the longer you stay, the more comfortable you become, the more game awareness you have. Brilliant shot. This time there's protection in the deep. It will just be a single. And South Africans are also now seeing how important it is to make sure they don't give away too many freebies.
This is very intelligent from the captain, given that without boundary from Kehinde Amusa in the first over, where they had two fielders at deep square leg and deep mid wicket, they deployed a deep extra cover in the second over. Full straight to the field at mid-off. A little bit of sloppiness from the field, allowing these two to scamper for a quick run. I beg your pardon, Zia is on the bench as a sub. She's not playing in this particular fixture.
Oh, is it called? She's confident. She got into the cap. Amusa. But Christabel was hesitant. Eventually, clearly, in that partnership, there is much needed one. And gradually needs to keep rolling. More and more here. Every single run here counts today. I like the confidence of Mika being able to open the bowling with spin. Ashley just making sure no room is given there. And that brings us to the end of the third over. It will be 13 for no loss. Required run rate continues to soar from here to 7.1. But again, we know the power, ability the Nigerian batting lineup has or possesses, and this will be tested this afternoon.
Runs coming off her second over is Ashley Van Wyk, 13 for naught after 3. Moving slowly and steady are Christabel Chukwonya and Amusa. Bruzan comes back to bowl her second. Into the pitch, cut away powerfully. What a take! The catching has been spot on from the young South African side. Ashley Van Wyk takes a screamer at pointer right after bowling her 2 overs. What a gem of a player she is, as the young South African side draws fast blood.
Again in your screen, it was there for the hit, just uppish. That's it. Shot wide, but taking brilliant one-handed catch. After bowling such a good over and then you take such a brilliant catch, shows how much commitment you have for your team. Amusa departs for 9 after 12 deliveries. And Mosigo Eguakun throws in that delivery again. Shots there. And the beauty one-handed catch. Believe, self-belief. And South Africans are reliving the moment now as Amusa departs. Eguakun Omoegon will join Christabel.
When you look at that first wicket, you'd feel like Kehinde Amusa endurance. She's missed out on that half tracker, which was ball outside off stump. She would have hit that ball, given that she's been in fine touch for her side. Anywhere she wanted, picking up the only fielder at point, one of the best fielders in this particular tournament, Ashley Van Wyk, who took another screamer. The catching and their fielding has been terrific at the South African U19s. Into the pitch again, well left. Wides on offer. They don't mind these ones coming in handy are the female yellow greens. But again, the biggest worry here should be you can't afford or allow to let that record run rate climb to 8. Yes, they have a very good batting lineup, the likes of Lucky Piety this time round, who didn't open the batting. Esther Sandy, who put on a decent score in yesterday's defeat, of course, playing a lot ranger for her side, and Salome Sande, who is yet to make a statement in this particular tournament, given that she is one of the players who have crossed 1,000 runs in T20 internationals. The female yellow greens would want those particular 3 batters to bring out their A game in this fixture.
Oh, they don't have a choice from this point. And batters number 4, 5, 6 would have to be the three of them. And they have to make a statement and state why they are on this side. And they've got the qualities, they've got the experience to put those runs together. And short and wideish again. Mosigo missing out on that one. Dot. Christabel 2 of 7 deliveries. Mosigo just dotted 3 now, not scored yet.
Coming back to your point, endurance, I'll tell you, the longer they occupy the crease, we've seen a very good example from Mika Vanvos. Came in, kept losing wickets. On the other hand, a very good shot again. Look at the fielding, run out chance. Not the best of throws.
You have to be careful here. Never run off a misfield, especially when he's in the inner ring. We got to be careful. I agree with you, Bob. That's the run out opportunity again. It was short there to be played. And fielder just fumbles it straight. The throw did not help things. If it was flat and quicker, maybe another wicket. I agree with you spending time in the crease, but when you have the ability to be able to do it, I still think maybe Piety, Sunday, Salome should have been batting at number 3 to give them that opportunity to be able to build, because any of those two at the crease at the moment would be very aggressive when the ball is bad. And that's what they have to learn how to do, because it's T20. It's not 50 overs where you're keeping them for later on. And you can see that short pitch delivery wasn't capitalized on. Skill set might not be there. But I'll tell you what, those 3 batting at number 3 in T20 cricket will always give you that opportunity to win games quicker.
I agree with you, endurance, and given that you always want your best batters to face their best bowlers, you can't afford to send out not to say that she's not one of the best batters, Egokun. I would love to see Lucky Piety or even Salome Sunday, Esther Sunday coming in as soon as possible and try and put pressure back to the young South African side. You can't afford to be hiding your best batters. They might come in when the required run rate is around 9 or even 8, putting pressure on them straight up. Another dot ball, you can see what we're talking about.
Well, I clearly believe the bench understands what is required. Brings us to the end of the 4th over. Score is on 16 for 1. Current run rate sitting at 4. Required is just 7, and they have to work things around to make sure they are at a touch of it, right? 6, 5, 6 and over is what you should be looking for. Make sure that required run rate is not running away, and you stay close to it as often as you can.
That was the wicket, of course, from Bruzana. The wicket of Kehinde Amusa outside off stump, picking up the fielder at point who took a very good low catch that was struck with a lot of venom, kept her eyes all the way to the ball. More spin coming in from the pavilion end. Kylie Wanka, as we should have expected earlier on, of course. Gotta see a lot of spin from the South Africa under-19s. Full on that occasion, enticing delivery there, but what an effort there from the fielder.
They have to watch it again. They have to watch it. You want to keep everything on the ground as much as possible. If you're hitting over the top, trust yourself and go big. You don't want to lose more wickets, but you want to keep the scoreboard ticking. And that's something, that's the game awareness these kids need to have.
And when you come back to your point, if that ball, that full toss was given the likes of Lucky Piety or even Salome Sunday, that would have been an easy boundary. Another dot ball. I beg your pardon, that's the captain bowling, Mika Vanvos. Taking matters into our own hands. Loud appeal. Very good glove work. You gotta be very, very careful. Up against one of the best wicket keepers in this tournament, Jair Filanda. But most importantly, it's a dot ball. Let's have a look at that again. Flighted delivery on that occasion. Threatening the outside edge straight away in her third delivery is the captain.
That understanding is clear. The skipper knows what is expected. Yeah, Chike, just another single. 3 from 12 deliveries. Christabel They need a lot more beyond this. Haven't been a beautiful or wonderful power play overs for Nigeria. Again, they've been too careful here, I say. And trust the judgments. Go for it. Yesterday we saw Esther Sunday batted through that innings for Nigeria. I would have thought she would be in the top 4 batters here. And hopefully she can set the pace and the tone for that chase. A wide delivery. The umpire not wasting time on that one. Very clear.
I would agree with you 100%, given that Christabel, who's been batting down the order at number 5 or even 6 so far in this tournament, she's contributed, coming in at number 5 with her 40, with her 2 maximums, and now she comes in to open the batting. So far she's faced 12 deliveries for her, 3 runs, batting of course in the favor of the young South Africans. As we come to the end of the 5th, last over to come in the power play, the female Yellow Greens find themselves on 19 for the loss of 1 wicket. The run rate is climbing and climbing, but again, when you break down the first innings, right after the power play, they are sitting on 18 for the loss of 3 wickets, and in the next 4 overs, they found themselves, I beg your pardon, in the next 4 overs, they found themselves on 42 for the loss of 4 wickets, when, of course, Mika Vanvos was still there getting her eye in, and then right after the 15th over, they found themselves on 83 for the loss of 5 wickets, and that's when they become very, very calculative, making sure they finish on a high, scoring 50 runs in the last 5 overs, moving at 10 runs and over. Very intelligent player they are. Made sure in those last overs they had batters at the back end.
Clearly, rather than being scared of what could happen, I would have taken my chance on my top order batters, because that intent needs to be made clear about how this chase will be. You don't want to leave it too late, and then it becomes a case of your best batter having to come in straight away and start going big. There's going to be questions around how well. And I practically also don't see batters being out there warming up, because you should expect that they'll start warming up to give themselves, prep themselves ahead of the onslaught. Because what we are seeing now is already into the 6th over. Score is on 19 for 1. Lucky Piety, Esther Sunday, Salome Sunday, the 3 key batters for Nigeria, yet to come in. Brilliant take by the wicket keeper. We'll take all those extras. But again, looking at the numbers here, those strike rates are not very encouraging. 13 balls, 3 runs, 6 balls, 2 runs. Between them, 19 balls, and they've scored only 5 runs from those 19.
And of course, to compliment on what you're saying, as the ball takes the outside edge, but there's a fielder at short third who keeps it down to only 1 run. To compliment, I beg your pardon, on what you're talking about, when you look at the fast ball of Cananelo, who's been brought to bowl the last over of the power play, that full toss, any day, any time, Lucky Piety, Salome Sunday, Esther Sunday would have put it away.
That confidence needs to be there, because when you see the setup of the South Africans, their best batters are there batting in the top 4. It's okay to lose 1 or 2 wickets, and that's the confidence you want to see. Yesterday we saw the Rwandan team, the same thing. It's going to be your top 5 batters in that fray. If you lose wicket, fine, you lose wicket, but they are there as batters to get runs.
This is a format, I'll tell you, especially given that they are chasing down 113 in the next 87. You would have wanted your best batters to come and kill off the power play. It's either you win this game in the power play or in the last 4 overs. But you don't want to find yourself in those last overs needing anything close to 9 runs and over.
And that's the beauty of it. In the last 4 overs, if you bat yourself into a position where it's 6, 7, 8 and over, you have a chance, because all you need is a boundary and 3 singles. Then you are almost at 7 and near 8 and over. Then if you get 2, they become big overs, like we saw. I mean, when you look at how South Africa came through, they were 42 for 4. And then they went on, when we came after 10 overs, right, the next 4 overs, they got another 42. They went from 42 to 4 for 84 for 4. And then they have the 133 in that last 5 overs. But let's see. This is real test. Beautifully driven there towards the 3rd man area. They got 2 from that one. Now they know the urgency. The pressure is coming from the dugout. The words are going out there. The Nigerian bench now clamoring for required runs. And that's where you see this pressure coming in. But I'll tell you what, this game will be a nail-biting finish.
Absolutely. We have a game on our cards. Full on that occasion again. Another dot ball. I would love to see the dot ball percentage in the first 5.5 overs for the female yellow greens. But again, this dot ball pressure can create pressure to the batters. Don't be surprised seeing a wrong shot here being played by Egwakun or even Christabel Chukwonye, given that they are getting the best out of them are the young South African. Last ball in the power play. White on offer again. She's looked to be struggling in her very first over is Cananelo, bowling it all over the pitch. We haven't seen, of course, the likes of Daneli Boshoff, interestingly, who opened the batting. She would love to close off this last ball and end the power play. Already 7 runs ahead are the female yellow greens in the power play, given that the South African U19s were on 18 for 3. And with that dot ball, of course, she goes for 6 runs in her very first over. We come to the end of the power play. 25 runs on board for the loss of 1 wicket, needing 109 in the next 84 deliveries.
And that's the batting scorecard for us. Nothing spectacular. We've seen there 12, 14 and 10 balls faced by each of those top 3 batters, and then 9, 4, 4. And clearly the strike rate there is 75, 28 and 40. If they can just increase that strike rate to about 90, 100 in the next 5, then they will set up the game for the next 4 batters. But I'll tell you what, 109 from 84 deliveries is possible. Again, is the temperament, and then the team needs to bat with purpose. Sitting on current run rate of 4.1 per over requires us climb to 7.7. Hopefully shouldn't get to that 8. But again, we have a big game in our hands today. We are coming through into the 7th over now. Clearly, joining me in the comms box again is Peter. Peter, you're welcome. And what is your take on this chase?
So far, it's been looking quite good. This is a very good start. If you look at the first inning for the South African U19, they had 11 in the power play overs. Nigeria currently on 25 for just 1 wicket loss. This is a very good manner of approach to the game. 109 needed of the next 84 balls. The moment the boundary starts sticking, these runs start to greatly decelerate, and that is where they will get the upper hand. For now, they just need to play out the first 10 overs, maintaining this number of wickets, so that when they become explosive, they will do so with a lot of arsenal in the bag.
Thank you, Peter, for that submission. But short, and that into that gap without be the needed boundary few that comes around it. No, it will not. It will just be 2 runs from there. But good approach after the power play overs. Field slightly open. The intent is clear, and the batters are beginning to realize they need to capitalize here. Just that there were too many bad balls we thought could have been boundary balls. But this is what it is, and the pressure keeps posing. The bench now realize how important this would be for them to continue to sojourn. A run scored now. It's a run in the bag towards the last setup. A brilliant piece of bowling. That one came back. Mika, that captain, game awareness, match awareness, always thinking, trying something new, but staying within touch reach.
She's been very excellent in this tournament with the ball and the bat, helping the team put that competitive total on the board, which they look to be doing a very good job at defending. Currently right now, that ball played in the air, just outside of the 30-yard circle, that deep field expansion to cope any chance of leg side power play. So far, it's been rarely used. The leg side has been rarely used as the bowlers have stuck more to the onside. Do you think that there should be a little bit of changing to the field placement?
Oh, clearly South Africa have a plan here, and you see them protection 2 on the deep mid wicket and deep square leg, long off, and deep extra covers, just protection around there, and they know how difficult it is to play the lofted drive onto the long stump. That brings us to the end of the 7th over, and that's just that over after power play. Score now moves to 29 for 1, and requiring 105 from 78 balls. Current run rate sits again at 4, and required climbs again. That's the bowling scorecard for you. Brilliant economy rate there, 3.50 by Bruce and Goshen, who are both 2 overs and considered 9 runs. We also see Mika 2, 7 considered. A brilliant, yeah. focused on dot balls. Jidagba, you're welcome to the comms box again. And we're into our crucial stages here. The 8th over, beyond the mark, and the skipper, Mika, and still bowling this time from the Court of Appeal end of this TBS Oval in the heart of Lagos, the commercial city. Promising exciting 13 overs to come.
Thank you very much, Endurance FM and Bob Bashir Songa, for taking us through that 7 overs. An appeal that umpire Kehinde Olambiwonu is not interested in.
Of that play on the side, definitely was missing the leg stump due to that later, and the umpire has seen and understanding that. And they are taking advantage of every opportunity now. 30, it is on the board, needing just 104 more of the next 76 balls. This game still within the control of Nigeria. We saw them batting first yesterday against Rwanda, and they couldn't register more than 90. Today they even have more. This time they will be doing the chasing. Looks like a comfortable end for them. So I want to ask something. Yesterday, as the matches have gone, we've seen Kehinde Amusa bowl third and bat 1 down. Today, she opened the bowling for the female Yellow Greens and also came at the top of the order. The strategic approach from the coach so far is starting to pay off, I would say, because now you look at Ekwago Mosigo coming up the batting order and getting a much needed boundary for the female Yellow Greens. On the leg side, that ball coming in, she goes on one knee and meets that ball at just the right point, right contact point, playing off the back foot into the deep at the region where there was no covers. They've been waiting for that moment. Team South Africa had that fielding placements in those deep regions, and Nigeria haven't really gone adventurous there. The moment there was an opening in that region, they took advantage of it, sending that ball to the far end of the leg side.
I was going to respond to your question, but then this is the last ball of this 8 over. Plays it into space. They will go for two looks assured. They say coaches live and die with their decisions. Yesterday's game against Rwanda, there was a bit of batting disorderliness, if I can call it that, and that's accounted for the 6-wicket loss against Rwanda, who are still the unbeaten side. And of course, the partnership we are talking about, Amusa Kehinde and Christabel Chukwuonye only had 13-run partnership, but Egwakun Omosigo and Christabel Chukwuonye have a better partnership of 23 from 29 balls. Yes, we were talking about it. They've still kept some weapons. People like Lucky Piety, Esther Sandy, not also forgetting Salome Sunday, people who can still strike the ball. And what they are just trying to do is maybe these ones should go there, kill the shine of the ball. When those ones are coming in, their eyes are clear, and then they can begin to open up. But again, leave nothing to chance, because this South African side, the under 19, are really doing very well in terms of not giving Nigeria too many opportunities to score boundaries.
Yeah, I do agree with you. The boundaries haven't been coming except for that one that Iguasun almost got on the far end of the leg, and now there's been protection placed back there. Nigeria will have to start ticking into the open space on the open side of the field and hopefully run between the wickets. Good one from Ashley Bernard, bowling just our first over of this inning for the South African under-19s, bowling to Ekwaku Mosigo, currently with the best batting figure for the female Yellow Greens as of this match. 14 off 19 is her score, and she takes that to 15, going off strike for Christabel Chukwuonye.
It's looking more like the task is becoming daunting, even when there's still a lot of wickets at hand and there are lots of overs. But the more the dot ball continues to happen, the more what you require continues to go up. We say we are not coaches, we are commentators, but sometimes we see what we see and we say some of the things we say. And one of such things is, I've known Esther Sandy to be an opener, but then Esther Sandy has been dropped down. Christopher Chukwuonye bats better when the shine of the ball is dead. The reason she scored a considerable number of runs against the Ghanaians, but now we are having batters, dot too many balls even when they are trying to score one here and there. 94 runs in 66 balls.
Yeah, the decision to bring in Esther Sandy down the batting order seemed to have worked, as even though they had lost the game, she played all out and helped them put 90 runs on the board despite coming in when the runs were really, really low. So that is not the take home at the end of the day, but the fact that this strategic approach to this match is working right now. This is a balanced time of the game, 94 of 66. The balls are reducing. The runs are not going down, are not taken down as fast as they should, but it's still within the reach of the female yellow greens.
But again, why do my instinct just tells me that we have just one more over to get into drinks break, and after the drinks break, if the runs don't jack up, you see the coaches retiring either of Egwakun or Christabel to bring in maybe a Lucky Piety or a Salome Sunday, knowing that the pressure is mounting. We are back into the ninth over gone, getting into the 10th over for us to get into drinks break. Oh, lovely piece of fielding. They are putting their body behind the ball. It's safe and it's clear that these two teams are meeting again, and that is on Friday, later in the afternoon, because they will only finish second and third respectively. But the game between Zimbabwe under 19 cricket team and Ghana will now determine who plays against Team Rwanda.
Flick to the leg side and give a big chase. She did at the boundary ropes. Stopping that ball is Bruce and Grozen coming in for our second game of the tournament. They are doing everything possible to make this game more difficult for the female yellow greens, making boundaries very, very difficult to come by. So far, only two boundaries have been found. One of Amusa Kande and Egwakun Omosigo tied at 43 runs, and only 8 runs have been from the boundary. The other have been in between the stumps and extras.
You have to say that the key to what South Africa posted the under 19 team in the first innings were the trio of J. Lee Filanda, Sifokule Masilela, and Mika Vanvos. Not to say the others did not get into the, but those were the key actors, especially Mika Vanvos, who scored 69. And you need that kind of performance from Nigerian team. Question is, who is that batter who will rescue them? Lovely throw, brilliant throw. The fact that they are cutting off those boundaries are things of worry for the coaching crew of Nigeria.
Korean Warriors still sits at 8.75. The required, that is, with the current being 4.58, still very much behind. But the boundaries will change the entire momentum of this game. Sloppy fielding from Jesse Kamfa, not the best we've seen her do all day. And Nigeria will take advantage of that, adding 2 more runs off the last ball of the 10th over. It is the drinks breaks we head into with 47 on the board for 1 wicket lost.
Again, we'll be back after the drinks break, but Christabel Chukwuonye, 25 balls. She has faced, scored 13 runs. Egwakun Omosigo has faced 23 and has scored 16. A lot needs to be done, and we will be sharing with you what South Africa were after the drinks break and what Nigeria are after the drinks break.
Drinks breaks is over and play can now resume. Nigeria on 47 for 1. At this point in this game, in the first inning, South Africa were on 42 for 4 wickets lost. Nigeria still have a little bit of an advantage. They will be needing just 87 of the next 59 balls after 1 ball bowled in the 11th over by Ashley Barnard. Survives a scare. There she does a Gwakun Mosigo. Ashley Barnard with that late turn that did not come, threatening the wickets. Ashley hasn't had much work to do behind the stumps. Launches it to the leg side as she takes herself all strike. And from Christabel Chukunoye will take strike. It's Nigeria accelerating on their runs. For the 86 now, 3 balls bowled, only 1 run considered. 2 boundaries found so far, 2 fours. 4 toss. Not to the boundary as there was a fielder at long off. Nigeria settled for 1 run. Egwakun on strike almost as soon as she had left.
Peter, I'm afraid for Team Nigeria. Reason is very simple. What they require is boundaries. They have lots of wickets at hand, and those wickets at hand will not do anything for you in the scheme of things. This is the 11th over. They are 50 runs for loss of 1. They need 84 runs, 84 balls. By the time you send in those batters where they are 50 for 1 after 11 overs, those Esther Sandys, those Salome Sundays and Lucky Piety, they will be coming in under pressure where they will need to score in every boundary. I mean boundaries in every over.
Yeah, I do agree with you, but you need to consider the fact that in the first inning, the South Africa under-19 were on 46 for 4 after 11 overs. 6 more they are ahead the female yellow greens, and so they still have that little bit of edge in hope that they, in the ending overs of this game, can actually add more to the board. Third catch behind the stump for Ashley. She's been very effective. Jaylee Philander, the wicket keeper, very young and efficient, took a catch caught behind in the first game. In the second game, there wasn't any opportunity for that in the third game. But look at that ball again, that slow ball. Egwakun didn't really combat it in time, and she played just behind the ball and that edge into the gloves of the wicket keeper. In the knowledge of the square leg umpire, the finger goes up and that edge sees Nigeria lose another wicket, just the second wicket they've lost. And now Salome Sunday can't come in, much in their boundaries for the female yellow greens. And my corrections, Lucky Piety is the one in, and she will now have to do the captain's job. Mika Vanvos did that in the first game, and she has to do that this time around for our team.
Now, you were talking about what the South Africans did, the under-19 team in the first innings, and what Nigeria is doing. You just have to agree with me that the game changer was the batting temperament that Mika Vanvos has and the support she got from Sifofile Masilela, hitting about 2 boundaries. Question is, Lucky Piety has come in. She needs that batting temperament. She needs to score those runs because a lot is rested upon her shoulder, and she's coming in at a very difficult time.
Jesse coming, running in quite fast and delivering slow balls, catching the batters off guard. The Lucky Piety is not a victim of that. Straight cuts it to the fielder in the deep. 1 run, takes herself off strike, and now she's paired with Chukwunoye Christabel, who is now currently on strike. 3 balls, 1 run, 2 far. Nigeria run rate has somehow slowed down significantly.
And you have to say that Christabel has batted from ball 1 up until this moment. But the runs are not coming in as expected. And that's the big problem. She's batted from the first ball. She opened the batting with Kehinde Amusa.
Not finding the gap. Lucky Piety. JC has been magnificent each time she's come on the field. She's a runner, intercepting every ball that comes her way from reaching the ropes. And with the ball and bat, she has done her fair share for the South African under-19s. In the air she goes. Is this a maximum? No, it is not. And that catch is not taken. Big stretch there by the fielder, just outside of the 30-yard in the ring. Does that ball again, try to go big. Lucky Piety having given out a maximum in the first inning and try to get one herself. Lucky escape there of that scare, as Nigeria currently having 54 on the board for 2 wickets. In the first inning, Ajidagba, South Africa had 53 for 4 wickets lost. Nigeria just 1 better, but still a long way to go. 80 needed of the next 48 balls. Still a long way to go. 8 overs that is still remaining. That right now they'll be needing a required run rate of 10 runs per over.
Nicely put it there, Peter. Danieli Boshoff coming from the pavilion end into the 13th over. Nigeria need 2 boundaries in every over if they hope to do anything in this game. Else, it might just be back-to-back loss for Team Nigeria.
Danieli Boshoff has been fantastic with the ball since coming in as a substitute bowler for Shofa in the game against Rwanda, and since then she's always had the ball in every game. She's coming right now for a total successful game where she's bowling and starts off really great. Single off the first ball. Lucky Piety still hasn't found a rhythm in this tournament. From the top of the batting order, Lucky Piety has found herself 1 down, coming in at number 3. And number 5 she's coming. Number 4 she's coming on the batting order, and she's gotten a much deserved boundary. The 3rd boundary for the female yellow greens, pulled excellently to the leg side, much to the disappointment of Danieli Boshoff. A short ball and sent properly, way too short. And Lucky Piety taking that bounce to the direction he was headed in, and that was the leg side. Already 59 for 2.
Beautiful piece of bowling from Danieli. I was going to ask you, Peter, since you have captain at youth level, what responsibility comes with captaincy? Some persons good with their skill but can't add it to being captains.
Most times people think that being a captain is just more of a privilege, but it is a huge responsibility. You always have to lead by example. Every decision is on you, from the bowlers to the field placement. Everything sits on you, and when you get one thing wrong, it affects not your questions, not just your captaincy, but also your credibility to lead. And you always try to be on point on most of your decisions in order to benefit the team. With the ball or with the ball, regardless, you have to show tenacity and temperament, and also excellence in that stead.
The task becomes daunting for Nigeria. Brilliant over from Daniel Iboshov, giving away just 5 runs, including a boundary. His 13 overs gone. Nigeria 59 for 2.
Yeah, nowadays even more huge tasks for the Female Yellow Greens, having just 59 on the board after 13 overs. In the first inning, the South Africans were on 62 for 4 wickets lost. Nigerians are 3 runs behind what South Africa has posted on the board at this point of the game.
No disrespect to the batting side of Nigeria. You keep talking about this thing, but you've forgotten that one constant factor in that first innings, I keep saying, is the tactical awareness, the brilliancy, and the match awareness of Mika Vanvos. The batting temperament that she's got is the reason the team got to that score.
Couldn't agree more with you now. Buzan been excellent on the field, coming full as second over. She intercepted a couple of runs at the ropes and also stopped 2 boundaries from actualizing when she was sitting at long off. Gave out 7 runs in her first over, already started over second over, and she looks to go to Lucky Piety, who she will also be looking for a second wicket in this game. A swing and a miss. Lucky Piety plays over the ball, and the ball ends up in the ever ready and able Jaylee Philander.
Peter, I'm looking out for 2 things. The South African under-19 cricket team are not giving boundaries that Nigeria require. Secondly, the misplaced fielding we saw from Nigeria in the first innings, we are not seeing that from South Africa. They are not giving free lunch, unnecessary runs. They are making you work hard for the runs. Look at the wicket keeper. Ordinarily, that should have been a wide fall. She put her body behind it. Those are the little details that is making things difficult for Nigeria.
That is one of the things I told you about being a captain. The responsibility falls on you, and you can also give that praise to Mika Vanvos for the field placement, and it has been effective for the South African under-19, and that just tells you just how intelligent and experienced she is, having played in an under-19 World Cup final with this young squad. Where the 3 balls bowled, 3 balls remaining. Full it comes, and properly dealt with Lucky Piety off the front foot. Beautiful swing of the top arm, and that will be Nigeria's 4th boundary. The runs actually decelerating quite very fast into that gap. Even Mika just had to let that ball slide. Watch that ball, knowing that there was no way she could outrun that ball and stop it before getting to the boundary ropes. Excellent on the field. Buzai Grossen. 2 more balls. This time a much more good length. Wasn't full, just in front of Lucky Piety. She couldn't combat it. Already into double figures, Lucky Piety. Only batter for the Female Yellow Greens who couldn't get into double figure was Amusa, as she only put 9 runs, 1 shy of a double figure. But so far, there's still more runs than balls needed. Short, caught it to the leg. Sorry, my correction. Caught it to the top end and deep offside. The fielder at deep point could not get to that ball in time. You look at that replay outside of all and Gosen decides to go and put it in Lucky Piety's favorite region, that outside of, and she deals with it amicably. Another boundary for the Female Yellow Greens. The boundaries are starting to take now. We're already 14 overs completed, 8 wickets in hand. Now there's a lot of freedom to be explosive and adventurous for the Female Yellow Greens. 69 for just 2 wickets.
Well, I also need to chronicle that the first back-to-back, 2 boundaries in an over came in the 14th over, which is a sharp contrast to what we saw in the first innings. I recall that in that first innings, Mika Vanvos sent Queen Joseph to the boundary consistently, same as anointed Ahigbe, but that's a wide ball. But they will need many more boundaries if they hope to make this game very interesting. That was the best batter in the first innings. Mika Vanvos, the captain.
Maybe looking good for the female Yellow Greens as they were able to push up and get into 70, but they are still very much behind. In the previous over, in the 14th and 15th over, South Africa under 19s have scored 21 runs. So a figure that Nigerian are still very quite far off, and they need to put more runs on the board as they are looking to close in on runs needed per over. Currently, as of the 12th over completion, they were needing 10 runs per over. Now it's at 11.29 required, and with a current strike rate of just 4.88.
And that's why I need to ask you that question. Does not call for worry? And you say Nigeria are looking good. They are not looking any good, because this is pressure that I see.
The last 5 overs are the determining point of this game. 30 balls changes a lot of things, and 60 runs off 30 balls is still very much more achievable, but that will require a lot more explosiveness and bigger shots, finding the gaps, quicker feet, running in between the wickets. If they can combine those 3 necessities, they should be able to scale through. What the question remains, if South Africa will give them that privilege, which doesn't seem to be forthcoming.
I thought you were seeing Lucky Piety as Shubman Gill, or Rohit Sharma, or Abhishek Sharma, or Samson Dube, or Ken Williamson. It's Lucky Piety, and the pressure is mounting. And look at that fielding. They are doing everything humanly possible. Brilliant piece of fielding, Daniele Boshoff, running the channels, debarring Nigeria from scoring boundaries. Singles will never win them any game. Singles will only make them finish 3rd after 4 rounds of matches.
Putting that ball that late on off the bat of Christabel and Lucky Piety, making it impossible for them to play to their style. Although off the last ball, the female Yellow Greens on 72 for 2 after 15 overs.
The stretch, 62 for 30. They say management, according to Peter Drucker, is doing the right things, but leadership is doing things right. We are bringing leaders now to take us through the stretch, and captains. When you cannot lead, you can't be a captain. Entrance of Fem and Bob will take you through 62 runs in 30 balls. What a drama.
Good afternoon, our viewers. Back again on action. Much expected as predicted earlier. The chase is on. 62 from 30 deliveries. Lucky Piety, the Nigerian skipper, 16 of 16, batting in difficult times. Field spread out, obviously, and captain from South Africa on the 19th side will continue to make sure life is difficult here. But I'll tell you what, everyone is watching. She goes big this time, found the boundary just in time. What is needed? Lucky Piety now decides to be conventional about this. That sweep shot, amazing, and is neatly swept away.
Half tracker on that occasion, and she's been put under the pump. Is Jazea picking up a boundary from the very first bowler. They should be looking to target this particular over if they can get anything close to that 15, as the required run rate is skyrocketing, still at 12 runs and over. 76 for 2 after 5.1.
Again, dead in there, another dot ball. This perhaps should be that over they have to target within the next 4.4 overs. They have to decide which bowler they have to go out for. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be really difficult, because looking at this South African field placement, they've got mid-wicket, deep square leg, and of course extra covers with a long on. And clearly there's a game plan here. Make sure Piety doesn't get the boundaries, and make sure she has to run with her legs. And what you expect here is going to be hard times. And we talked about it earlier. That batting lineup needs to be reshuffled because your top batters need to be in the top 5. This time she goes up, ball is in the air, but looks safe over mid-off, and this would go all the way. Much needed. We spoke about it. It's a 6. There has to be that big over. Captain Lucky Piety needs to play the leadership innings, and this is what we are seeing.
What a hit there from Lucky Piety, the captain. A full on that occasion outside off stamper. Through the kitchen sink. Pick the bones out of that one. Off she goes for a maximum. She is turning the tides of this game. Is the captain Lucky Piety, who is already now into 26 of 19 deliveries. This should be the over the target, as they have picked up 10 runs so far in the first 3 balls. Given, of course, at the field she has a mid-off inside the ring, she should be targeting that particular region as she picks up yet another maximum. Back-to-back 6s here for the captain. 16 runs coming off for the first 4.
We have to check her ears. Does she have a bug on and listening to me? There has to be that big over. And this over, Jesse, is going under the pumps again. And Piety will deliver that one. It is already 6 plus 6 plus 4. That is what we have. 16 runs so far with 2 balls left in this over.
Paying the price are the South Africa under-19s. I'm not sure why they don't have a long off in play, given that Lucky Piety is very good down the ground. And they've paid the price so far. 16 runs coming off the first 4. How many more can she add is the question. She's already into the 30s. Picking form at the right time is the captain. She did open the batting, came in down the order, and she's putting on a show of her own, leading from the front. Deep extra cover in play. They have sent a long offer coming round the wicket into the pitch. Up. Can this be the catch? Up and over. Once again. Hat-trick of 6s here from the captain.
It can't get better than this. It can. The pressure is on, and she's taking that leadership to say, yes, I have the ability to do this. 366, and again on the replay, just there again, and she goes big. Trust me, this is confidence at the highest level. 94 for 2 after 15.5. How many more will come from this over? 1 ball to come.
Very good shot, you'd tell from the replay of that 36. She didn't even try to overhit the bowler. The timing was spot on, opening up, of course, that front leg. Last ball to come, she's been put under the pump. Is Jazea around the wicket. Change of pace. They will look for a double at these 2. And they pick up a double. A very good over here comes to an end. 24 runs coming off the over of Jazea. This should be the over that gets them back into the game are the female yellow greens as they edge closer and closer to that 3-digit marker. It's the end of the 16th, the scoreboard reading 96 for 2. These are the maximums. That was the first one as she picked the bones out of that one, sending it all the way for a maximum, of course, into the breeze, allowing the ball to go all the way. The second maximum, again, I picked it on a full. No chance whatsoever because there was no fielder there. Should have been an easy catch if the fielder was out there. But this time round, they set a fielder there. She cared less, opened up the front leg, and the timing was spot on. Hat-trick of 6s. A very big over, you'd say, there from the female yellow greens.
And that's what you expected. At some point, that risk will have to be taken. However, this keeps the current run rate at 6. And she goes big, opens up, but couldn't get that one through. 40 already off 23 deliveries, and 9 required from each over from this point. So 3.5 overs left, and this will be interesting time. She cuts that one, just a single. And now Christabel needs now to return this strike. Just get off strike. That will be what I expect her to do.
Should be the easiest assignment there to Christabel Chukwuonye. She opened the batting for her 19 of 36. They would love her to keep rotating the strike for the captain Lucky Piety, who's already into the 40s. Full on that occasion, but this time around finds the fielder at cover. You can tell the idea is very, very clear. They don't have a deep extra cover at the young South Africans. This could be very costly given that Ashley is bowling it away from the right-hander. Up and over. I spoke too early as she picks up yet another boundary. She is dealing in boundaries. Is a Lucky Piety.
And this is very beautiful. This is good to see. And we spoke about it earlier. Again, that delivery just there for the hit. She created that room and goes over extra covers. And the field placement here, long on, long off, deep mid wicket, deep square leg. Now the South Africans have to think through this one. They're still keeping the same field. Piety have got the ability. If she's bowling that off stump line, perhaps the deep square leg will have to come through, but he risked a sweep shot there. Offside again. He goes again. More and more boundaries now. Big moment for Nigeria. The big overs are coming at the end, and this is what you expect. Lucky Piety just that captain's knock today. She's got 2 consecutive boundaries now on the offside.
And of course, with that first boundary, the 100 came up, and the second putting icing on the cake, paying the price at the young South Africa under-19 side. Bowling leg spin without a deep extra cover with the red-hotted Lucky Piety, who is only 2 runs shy of a half century, a well-deserved half century. They deploy a deep extra cover. Bring in, of course, the fielder from deep square leg. Full again, up and over. Nobody moves as the 50 comes up for the captain, leading from the front. She came, she saw, she conquered, and she has put on a very well-deserved half century.
But she understands that job not done yet. She has to bat through. Anything can happen. This is cricket. And 25 runs required now from 18 deliveries. That delivery again, foolish, and she created that room again and goes through the offside again. This is a class act. We saw Mika did it for her team. Today, Captain Piety. It's about the captains today, and how they batted will determine who celebrates at the end of the day.
109 for the loss of 2 wickets after 17 overs. Lucky Piety scoring the 3rd half century of the tournament, and this being the quickest in the 5th edition, of course. Picking form at the right time, given that these two will be facing off again in the semi-final. 25 to get in 18. There is no rocket science in this equation. I'll tell you, Andy.
Clearly, it is Nigeria's game to lose now. You can say that, but how these games have turned around, just 2 overs. This is what cricket is all about. You need to wait till the end to get the actual result. Adaptability.
Ashley Barnett is back into the attacker. She has a deep square leg, deep mid wicket. No deep extra cover again. Starts off with a googly straight up. She has a long on and long offer. They've been put under the pump in the last 2 overs at the young South African side, courtesy of the captain leading from the front, putting on a captain's innings. Takes a little shimmy on that occasion. Bottom hand comes into play. The fielder settles herself and spills it. And the ball races away to the boundary. Butterfingers from the fielder in the deeper. Boundaries are the way to go for the female yellow greens as they look to close off this game as soon as possible and go have a quick shower and get ready for the semi-finals.
Good intent there, but there it was there for the take. Just that mid-judgment again. Needless, that risk. Getting off strike is the word. You have Piety, who is on song, and she's showing you how things are done.
Talking about her being on song. When it rains, it pours. 23 from Christabel, playing a handy knock in this partnership. Plays it straight to the fielder. A very decent effort there from the young Gruzan. Spoke about how it is very key to have a batter at the back end, and this is exactly what Lucky Piety has done. And Christabel rocks back with the back footer. Quicker on that occasion from Ashley Barnard. They need a miracle of a spell at the South Africa under-19s to pull off this haste.
And you could see the pressure on the non-strikers end by Lucky Piety, looking, watching. Just get off strike. That's the word. Just get off strike. She comes down the line again, goes big. The pressure happens, things happen. And just pressure everywhere. 1 delivery left. Again, Nigeria have to be careful. They have to watch closely. They have to be careful here. You don't want Christabel facing the next over. And so Piety is under pressure to get off strike. Will she get a boundary or get off strike? She has to decide.
I'll tell you, Endurance, if this delivery can get the wicket of Lucky Piety, we have a game on our hands. Up. She thinks otherwise. She is dealing in boundaries as she closes off the over with a very, very good shot. is the captain, Lucky Piety.
Again, creating that room on the offside. That delivery just wide off. See how she opened up that front foot and goes on the offside. That power and strength. She's got the ability to play anywhere, and whatever it takes, I'll tell you what, this is going to become the captain's knock. Lucky Piety, 56 of 27 deliveries, and Christabel shaping things up, 24 of 41. 118 for 2 at the end of the 18th over. It is 16 required from 12 balls.
And in a span of 18 deliveries, they found themselves needing only 16 deliveries in the next 12 balls, courtesy, of course, of the captain. Mika Vanvos will be bowling from the pavilion on end, the penultimate over. This game could be done and dusted in this particular over. Coming round the wicket, takes a little shimmy, picks it on the full, is the young Christabel Chukwonye. The assignment is very clear for her. She needs to get Lucky Piety back on striker.
And this is very good intent. It's good to see how Piety in just 2 overs have turned things around. Required clearly. It's 8.8 and over. It is keeper to skipper here. She comes big, finds that gap, but straight to the fielder. It's just a single. The pressure is on now. Will this be? Are we going to see the first super over? If no boundary comes in this over, the pressure in that last over, last 6 balls, how many will it be? But Christabel will have to play a magical knock now in this over to make sure it doesn't go down the drain or down to the wires. I tell you what, she comes down the line again. It will be a single. Fielder running deep behind the ball, just making sure it's just a single. This is how far things will get as soon as we follow this closely.
3 runs coming off the first 3 balls of the penultimate over, courtesy of the captain, Mika Vanvos, leading from the front, coming round the wicket. She has a long off, long on. Goes for a big sweep shot, beats everything, including the wicket keeper. And most importantly, it's a dot ball. You can't afford to go into the last over needing anything close to 10 runs and over. Gotta try and get a boundary as soon as possible. Last 2 deliveries to come. They need 13 off 8.
And this is why the South Africans under 19s are in this tournament, to start getting used to preparing for the World Cup. The kind of pressure they are facing here today, it shows character by the time they get to the World Cup. Full toss, this time hit again straight to the fielder at long off. The chase is on, fumble there, they're coming for a second. Oh my word, this is what happens when you are under pressure, and these kids will grow from here.
Go big, go home, they say. The last delivery of the penultimate over. She's bowled a tidy over, of course, despite, of course, that fumble from the fielder in the deeper. Last ball to come. Can this be a wicket to make things much, much better here?
I will take the risk. Piety get on strike to face the last over. And she might want to deal in boundaries.
Very animated appeal there, but he's going to go down as a dot bowler. She closes the penultimate over, needing 11 runs. In the last 6 deliveries, what a game we have here, endurance on our hands.
And we kept talking about it. Who is on strike? Christabel. If it's Piety, we might be having confidence. But how many dot balls is she going to face? What would she want to do? Would she want to start with a boundary? Would she want to get off strike and let Piety have the last 5 balls? And smart move here by the Nigerian side. They've just sent in Salome Sunday. Christabel is retired.
What a move here, endurance.
What a decision to make. But again, I find it a bit tricky. Perhaps it should have been done in the penultimate over to give Salome Sunday a few balls to get into that fray. And she's going to be the one to face her first delivery in this innings. Under pressure. This is real pressure, a big decision here, and let's see how this pans out.
I'll tell you, it can work in your favor or against you, as she will be facing Ashley Van Wyk, the best bowler in the under 19 South African side. Let's have a look at her field. There's a deep mid wicket, long on, long off, and a deep extra cover. No one at a deep square leg for Salome Sunday, who is very, very strong. Square the wicket. We have a game on our hands. Something's gonna give endurance. 11 to get of 6 deliveries.
Take this to be your super over of this game, and this could be it. A moment here. Interesting moment. Everyone here in the stands, on their feet, in the dugouts, keeping calm, We have 4 Nigerian board members watching from the side. They are also under pressure. Straight away, she gets off strike. Does she want a second? And Piety keeps strike. 5 balls, 10 runs.
Not a bad start to the last over there, you would say, from Ashley Van Wyk coming round the wicket, spinning it away from the right-handers, forcing them to play against the turn. She's been clearing the deep extra cover. They have a fielder position in that particular region for Lucky Piety. Goes for the big sweep shot. Listen to the sound. There's a fielder in the deep who will play second fiddle. That's Lucky Piety for you.
That needed boundary, and teams keep turning around. It is 4 balls left and 6 runs required. Again in the replay, she knows it. She knows it. A difficult angle to bat from. That leg stump, she opens up the face and finds that gap between deep square leg and deep mid wicket for that needed boundary. It is Nigeria on the driving seat. 6 runs required from 4. You can't take anything away from Lucky Piety. It's her innings to take. That is a captain's knock if she does go all the way till the end.
Not a bad delivery there from Ashley Van Wyk, but I tell you a thing or two. She's been in forma and red-hotted. Lucky Piety takes a little shimmy on that occasion. Should be looking for a double, a little bit of fumble in the deep, allowing Salome Sunday run out chance. And the umpire says not out. She made her ground. 4 runs to get in the next 3 deliveries. Endurance.
It's good to see how they've run very hard. See there, Piety. Sunday knows the business. She knows she has to run or get runs with the bat. At the moment, the umpire says no. It is 4 runs from 3 deliveries. How close will this be? Tell me, Bob, how close can this be?
I'll tell you, Endurance, it's the beauty of this particular tournament, the Nigeria Invitational. As of course, we thank our lovely sponsors, Providence Bank, for giving us such a beautiful tournament. A second game that is going down to the wire. 4 runs to get in the next 3. Can they pick up a wicket? 3 gonna be straight away. A dot ball. 3 runs to get now in the next 2 balls. Something's gonna give Endurance.
Piety, we have to stay calm and close. Could we say a super over today? She needs to wait and bat. This is real confidence. I'll tell you what, Ashley has done well to bowl in this last over. It's always going to be pressure situation. She hits it, miss hit. Will they get a second? No. Now Salome Sunday, it's 3-2, 3 from 1.
Well again, Mr. Endurance. The female yellow greens find themselves needing 3 runs in the last delivery. What a gem of a bowler she's been. Never an easy skill or task to have to bowl in the last over as a spinner, and she's made sure she's not leaked a lot of runs either.
It will not be fair on Piety for Nigeria to lose this game. She's batted beautifully. She goes big with a run 2. This might be a super over we have in our hands. Big ham straight to the bowler's end. Piety makes it. Yes, it's looking like a super over.
You call for it,
I said it, and it's happening. The first super over. This is brilliant chase here by Nigerians, and well done to Ashley. The game was going to slip away from their hands, but we've seen it, the first of its kind. This is pressure. This is very good. And I'll tell you, it's never happened in the history of this tournament. But Nigeria versus South Africa under 19. I put a game in our hands, and this is show fit. Thanks to Lucky Piety, the skipper who came in and nearly took that game. But again, you see how late it came. They almost lost it. We have 2 overs of cricket show in our hands.
What a game, what a game. It's the beauty of, as I told you, the Women's Invitational Tournament. Look at that last delivery. Very good shot, but straight to the fielder in the deeper. Did very well. Is the bowler, is Ashley Van Wyk. Scores are leveled. It's going to be a super over for the very, very first time here in Lagos at the Tafawa Balewa Square in the 5th edition of the Nigeria Women's Invitational T20 Kambarami Cup Tournament. Of course, if you're just joining us, it's South Africa earlier who won the toss and decided to have a bat first. Scoring 133 in their allotted 20 overs for the loss of 7 wickets. And the female yellow greens find themselves tying, of course, I beg your pardon, levering the score of the young South Africans. Let's have a look at the batting charter. Nothing much from Kehinde Amusa, who went for 9 runs from 12. A very good contribution from Christabel Chukwonye, who held fort, having faced 43 for her 26, where she was retired out. 18 from Igwakuna, 66 from 35. Once again, leading from the front, the captain, Lucky Piety. 11 extras ball in there, allotted 20 overs.
Clearly, this is a hell of a game. There is no batting lineup change here. It is Piety and Salom Sunday that will be batting for Nigeria. And padded up is Esther Sandy. That's the three batting today. And the South African side again regrouping. They're going to bowl the first over. And what a beauty of game we had in our hands today. It's been showmanship by the two captains and Ashley that bowled the last over. This is very good cricket, good experience. That is what, when we spoke to Grant from South Africa, the head of high performance, he said this is the experience they are coming for. And I'll tell you what, Rwanda and Nigeria are giving the South Africans under 19 that experience.
I'll put you on the spot, Mr. Endurance. If you are in the dugout of the young South Africans, who would you give that power play, I beg your pardon, that super over to bowl?
I'll tell you what, Mika will have to bowl it herself.
I'll give it Ashley Van Wyk. Any day, anytime, given that that last over wasn't an easy over. Turning away from the right-handers, I'll give it to Van Wyk any day, anytime.
Taking words from the dugout, the coaches, the South African backdoor room staff there, giving all the advice they can. The coach there making sure she gets it in. And the Nigerian dugout coaches as well doing the same thing to woo Lucky Piety and Salom Sunday. Those are the two that will bat. Padded up to come in number 3 is Esther Sandy. Will she get a chance? 6 balls to go. How many runs will they get? And this will be real pressure. And then South Africa will have to come and chase. Are we going to see a double super over? I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. But so far we've seen class cricket here. Good game awareness by both captains and the result we have seen.
The first time, of course, this year we've seen a double super over. We saw, of course, in the concluded the T20 World Cup, Afghanistan and South Africa, who gave us a very, very good entertaining game.
Here it is Lucky Piety, the skipper herself, who will be facing the first ball of the super over. If you are just joining here, we spoke about it. The skipper is there and getting ready to bowl. I told you, the skipper herself, this might become a battle of captains. Mika picked up the ball. Let's see, she's just checking. She's the one that will bowl it. And she's going to be bowling to the Nigerian captain, Piety. If you are just joining us all over the world, this is a super over between Nigeria and South Africa under 19. First innings 133 from 20 overs, and Nigeria also 133 from 20 overs.
Let's have a look at the field setter over the captain. She has only one fielder patrolling the onside. It could be very, very costly. She would love to pitch it up right on the off stamper, given that she will be spinning it away from the right hander, Lucky Piety. She has a deep extra cover, long off and long on. Here we go, super over, fast bowler. Starts off with the full toss. Easy pickings, one bounce over the boundary ropes. No protection in the deep, and they pay the price. What a way to start the super over from the female yellow greens.
It has to be high again. That's it. On the slow motion, the skipper, she goes full toss. It's Lucky Piety who opens up, and no protection around there. When you spoke about it, that one fielder on the leg side and a deep mid wicket, and 3 on the offside, extra covers, long off, long on, and see how she responds.
Much better line and length there from the captain, Mika Vanvos.
She knows it. Some frustration from Lucky Piety. She lost out on the offside as well. She can't be premeditating everything. She has to wait a bit. 10 runs here, 15 runs will have to be enough, because I tell you what, Mika will run straight to take her part.
This is a very smart move from Mika Vanvos, given that she's coming from the pavilion end, forcing these two batters to hit at the bigger part of the ground, 66 meters to be precise, where she has only one fielder. Third ball to go. Here we go. Apesha had hands on the occasion, drops short at the fielder in the deeper. And they will settle for only one run. This is turning out to be a very good over here from Mika Vanvos.
5 from 3 deliveries. 3 deliveries left. This time it's Salom Sunday, and she has to add some to this one. Hopefully she gets a hold of this one.
I set off, cut away powerfully. Hard hands from Salome Sunday. They will settle for only one. A little bit of fumble in the deep, allowing these two to pick up a double. Costly again in the field from the young South Africa under 19s who are being put under the pumper.
You said something about the end they're going to be bowling from. Nobody would say anything here, but let's see Nigeria if they're going to bowl from the pavilion end, because the wind, you're going to be bowling against the wind.
No ball signal there from the umpire. Suicide there from Mika Vanvos. You would say you can't afford to give out a free hitter.
Disappointing here. Salom Sunday will have to wait as long as possible, but she has a free hit. Let's see how she responds. Again, she misses out on the free hits. 8 runs from 5 deliveries. Obviously, Salom will face the last delivery.
They would love to capitalize on this last delivery. You can't afford to give the likes of the captain herself. With no surprise, she will be batting the super over. Takes a little shimmy, a little bit of an effort from cover region. They need to keep running at these two. And the super over again goes for 10 runs. The South African 19s will need 11 runs.
I think she's done well. She's done well. The pressure is on, and you can see she's going to be sprinting to pad up to face the Nigerian over. But let's see who's going to bowl that over for Nigeria. This is going to be a lot of pressure. They know it, and the South Africans think they have a chance because the captain. Clearly 11 required from 6 balls. Salom Sunday 4 from 3, and Lucky Piety 5 from 3.
What a game we have here on our cards. Can we go into the second super over endurance as you predicted earlier? Kehinde Amusa on the other side will be bowling the super over for the female yellow greens coming from the same end, the pavilion end.
This is the beauty of this game called cricket. We see these things every now and then. Straight up, we spoke about which batters will be padding up. This is what this tournament is about. Very good pressure here for both teams. They will learn at the end of 4 minutes. A team will feel bad, a team will be happy. And that's pressure as a sportsman is what you need in life.
Before we get to know who are going to bat the super over of the young South African under 19s, one thing for certain is going to be the captain. The two other batters we'll have to find out in a few. They need 11 runs to win the young South Africa under 19s.
Are you on the edge of your seats? What will separate these two teams from clearly a second and third position in the initial round robin stage? Both of them again on Saturday on Friday we set up for the semi-final battle. It will be South African under 19 versus the Nigerian team again.
So the news, of course, coming out from our officials, Mika Vanvos, the captain, alongside Danieli Boshoff and Ashley Bernard, who will be the three batters batting the super over. They need 11 runs. 10 runs, of course, if we are to go in the second super over. She had a very good day in the office with the bat in hand, is Mika Vanvos. They would love her to get her side over the line. She's taking matters into her own hands, bowling the super over and now coming out to bat the super over to chase down 10 runs.
And clearly the same few placement, just like the South Africans. Deep extra covers, long on, long off, and deep mid wicket. We have a short fine leg and a short third man. All the fielders in the ring, mid wicket there in place. This is going to be interesting. And that bowler for Nigeria is.
Let's look at the boundary options here for the captain. They have well positioned someone, a long one who is a little bit straighter. She would love to see if she goes cheeky. She tried out on a couple of occasions in her first innings, where of course she scored 70 runs. But that 70 will be in vain if she doesn't get her team over the line. They need 11 runs. Kehinde Amusa with the ball in hand.
And this is the beauty of the game. It's good to see how this has panned out. Spectators around South Africa and Nigeria. I tell you what, if you are the TBS cricket over leaving the Zimbabwean team, they're all watching. Ghana waiting, and now a few change there. They've decided to pull in the long off fielder to the ring. And there we go, the first delivery.
Goes for the reverse switch hit, beats everyone. Can this ball race away to the boundary? You betcha! Buys straight up. I spoke about how where the boundary options were. Straight away she went for the reverse switch hitter. Very intelligent player she is. Look at that. No chance whatsoever from Sarah Etim. A very, very costly 4 runs to start off for the chase of the super over.
Wicket keepers are important to super overs. You can't allow that. No contact whatsoever. That is 4 runs given away. The bowler under pressure. The team is under pressure. That should have been a dot ball. And then more pressure will be on South Africa. At the moment, it's 4 free runs. 7 required now from 5 balls.
Very costly there, you'd say, once again from Sarah Etim. But again, it's very, very tricky when the batter, of course, switches her stance. Second ball to come. Goes cheeky again. Ooh, this time round, well taken by the wicketkeeper.
And this is where the captain needs to think now, because you've seen her play that shot twice. You need to get that protection up there and make a decision. Right, that decision is a pressure decision. She's going to keep trying, and you're not making that change. I tell you, there's nobody at that boundary there behind third man.
Another dot ball again. This should tell you a thing or two. The intentions are clear from Mika Vanvos. She is not targeting anywhere on the onside. I'd love, of course, to bring in one of the fielders on the onside and send a backward pointer or even a third man.
This is a beauty of a game. The pressure is on, and the captain tried twice and missed. In the air, who wants it? Who wants it? Opportunity, yes, that needed Wicket. The break, she knows it, she's disappointed. Mika, disappointed there. And clearly, the Nigerians are happy. The pressure, you can see the board members and people jumping up and down here at the pavilion. Just to tell you how important this is for them.
You look at that again on the replay. Took a little shimmy, didn't get to the reach of the ball. Losing her shape, ending up chipping away. An easy catcher. Christabel Chukwuonye, one of the best fielders, of course, in the female yellow-green side.
Again, that's it. It was there. She came down the line and played thoroughly around it with a top edge. And beautiful, beautiful catch taken. I'll tell you what, 7 required, 2 balls. This is not over. A boundary and 2 runs gives us a second power play. I will always say it, all possibilities. Sorry, super over. But anything here, anything can happen. And it could be the last 2 deliveries of this encounter.
They did 2 boundaries, you'd say, once again, endurance. It's Danielle Boshofa. We've seen her long levers once in this tournament, where she scored, of course, 25 runs. Still adjusting their fielders. They bring in a fielder from deep mid-wicket, sending deep extra cover. And the long off, of course, is back on the boundary ropes. 2 balls to come. This ball could be the decider. Into the pitch, rocks back on the back footer. A lot of work to be done in the deep. 1 bounce over the boundary ropes.
I can get to understand it. At this level, anytime you need that protection at deep mid-wicket, always, because when they miss, that is where it goes to. But now we said it. 1 ball left, 3 runs.
Not only that protection, look at that bowling from Kehinde Amusa. They just brought in the fielder from deep mid-wicket, and then she bowls into the pitch, allowing, of course, Daniel Boshoff to get a boundary. Last ball to come.
Again, back in the same position in the regular 20 overs. Will they get 2 runs? This is very important, and you have to be focused here.
Takes a little shimmy.
No need. Yes, it's Nigeria that have it. This is a deserving win, a big chase. Interesting here. Very good cricket by both teams. And I'll tell you what, Nigeria wins in the super over.
What a game we've had here on our hands. Match day 5, game 9. The game that has gone down to the super over, where, of course, the female yellow greens walk out victorious. A much needed win. Bouncing back from that defeat against Team Rwanda in yesterday's game. As we move into the semi-finals, these 2 sides have had a taste of each other. They will be facing off again on Friday in the semi-final. Expect to see another highly anticipated semi-final here in the 5th edition of the Nigeria Invitational Women's Kambarami Cup. Kehinde Amusa, on the other hand, she held her nerve, defending 11 runs, I beg your pardon. Making sure her team gets over the line with the winner. As you do enjoy, of course, some of the highlights. We'll be back shortly with a post-match presentation with our mate, Peter. But do not go anywhere. We have a second game this afternoon. The Zimbabwe Under-19s will be taking on Team Ghana. As for now, it's me, Bob Songabashi, signing out.
of the game between Nigeria and the South African U19 here at the Nigeria Women's Invitational. In a thrilling match that went on, South Africa winning the toss and electing to bat first, putting a staggering 133 on the ball with a 69-run knock by the captain, Mika Vanvos. In the second inning, when Nigeria responded with 133 as well, a knock of 66 off 35 balls by the captain. A game that went into the super overs with Nigeria taking the final victory 10 runs in 1 over, as South Africa were only able to respond with 9 runs. Nigeria securing that very much needed victory. And now I'm going to first of all call on the captain of the South African side, Mika Vanvos, for the post-match interview. Good game, Mickey. You put 69 of 67, your best T20 knock so far. When your team had 133 on the board, do you feel like it was a run that you could defend going into the second inning?
I think obviously we knew we were a few 10, 20 runs short, but I think after the start we were just happy that we could get there, but I think we were definitely confident that we can defend it.
Going into the super over, you took the match all the way into the super over. At what point did you feel like it seemed you had been control?
Say again?
You took the game all the way into the super over. At what point did you feel like you had gained control before momentum was lost?
I think it was a lot. It was very even. There's no real point where we can say that one is 1 run. I think you can't be too critical on that.
Thank you very much, Mickey. Thank you very much. And now, before calling on the captain, it is going to be the player of the match as well for the captain as well, Lucky Piety, and it is going to be presented by Professor Miriam Suleiman.
This is yours, yeah? Just hold it.
Congratulations, Lucky Piety, coming in and putting 66 on the board for your team, making you in your own chase. How do you speak about your performance for your team today, even under pressure?
Truly, there was pressure at some point in the game because truly South Africans played really, really well. That's a very, very good side, and we are actually very, very amazed, honestly, with the play and how we reciprocated as well while we were batting. So personally for me, I just knew what was at stake, and I had already promised my team that I'm going there to take them to where exactly we wanted to be, and I'm grateful to God that I could perform.
You took this game all the way to the Super Over. What was the message to your batters and the bowler?
The message wasn't really that hard. We knew what was at stake with the 1 over that we had in the Super Over, and we just wanted to capitalize on what we could get and hopefully coming to defend it in the second over.
Thank you very much, Lucky Piety.
Thank you.
And that is it from the post-match interview of the game between the Nigeria and South Africa under 19. Thank you very much, and stay tuned for the second game.